Howdy, folks. Welcome to Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder campaign. Excuse me. I am Joe Treff, your game master this evening and joining me are all of my friends, Matt, Dan, Kara, Olive, and Ari, although we're losing Dan right now. We are going to play Starfinder tonight, but before we do, a couple of quick announcements. Huh? Lost Dan. I know.
Fucking with that.
We're approaching our 2-year anniversary for Starfinder, so that's gonna be
That's
February.
what you're gonna propose. It's been 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. You can catch up on the entire campaign over on YouTube. There's currently a runtime of 1 week, 2 days, 22 hours, 55 minutes, and 54 seconds. So there's quite a bit to catch up on, plus whatever's happening now. Yeah, exactly.
Right now.
Vacation's coming up, and so a lot of people have time off with the holidays. At Albron RPG on YouTube. We also tomorrow night are going to be playing an original D&D campaign, which is Adventures in Albron Courts of Everest, session 45 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night, right here on Twitch.
Shit, we are?
We are. And then we are also at Albron RPG on Instagram and other social media, which you could use to see close-ups of handouts, maps, and miniatures. I've been so busy that it had fallen off in the last week or two, but this week I was able to finally get back to posting again, so you can see all kinds of things. This is our close-up camera, which is currently a little empty, but well, which is so sad. We had so many things up there just a second ago.
I'm so sorry.
You know, it's okay. It's okay. But you can see all kinds of miniatures, handouts, things like that at Albron RPG on Instagram, on Threads, and platforms like that. And now it's time for this week's session of Mosaic Team 5. Alrighty. Mosaic Team 5.
Hi.
Last we played, Shade joined the fray in the nick of time as Bubbles was smashed into the ground, causing your potent ally Emma to cut and run. In the middle of this swirling melee within the warehouse that the Zon-Kuthon cultists had occupied and transitioned into the Benailed Altar. Gibbs channeled every ounce of healing that they had to keep the party up. Spice tried many unconventional distractions to pull the Vesk away from the party. Echo managed to track the doctor around the room and took their flash drive away. You slowly got rid of the cultists, with Bubbles smashing several with their Dothco and the androids taking them apart, and even Gibbs landing a critical bite attack for a whopping 3 damage. It was Shade who ultimately fired the killing shot on the Vesk, melting through the holes carved in by Echo mere moments before. You gathered what you could from the surroundings, including a guitar, weapons, money, and some additional gear before collecting a little bit of blood in a vial. And as you all now finish your rest, gathering a little bit of strength in the shadowy confines of the Hollow Husk, that is where we begin this evening. Just one moment.
So we're post-rest, or are we...
Yeah.
So we're right at the end of it, and so if there are things that you want to do over the course of the rest, you can absolutely let me know and do those.
How does HP work for recovery for us? I know we ended.
1 resolve point to restore stamina.
Correct.
You have to do like downtime, I believe, to
Or
get
you
HP
need
or
Gibbs.
healers.
Yeah, but I need a pencil before I can do anything because I can.
Did you?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay, so
Did you make us aware?
Oh, that's
of
the
thumb
panel?
drive?
Yeah,
Perfect
that's the first
size.
panel.
Perfect
I'm good
size.
now. I got
So
it.
I think
Is Shade aware? Because
Just give me a second. I have to spend a resolve point.
research that.
I'm gonna spend the result.
Echo would be. So you spend a resolve point for stamina,
Yeah.
and then I have to spend a resolve point. I'm probably gonna have to spend more than one.
Twice per day while you are in a settlement, you can spend 10 minutes wandering around observing the ebb and flow, blah, 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 blah. soaking up the creativity of your surroundings, blah, 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 blah. When you do, you regain 1 resolve point.
Nice.
There you go. And what is that from?
This is from Street Rat,
There you go.
my theme knowledge.
So what we'll say is while this rest is happening, you kind of head out towards the large open door that is open to the rest of the Hollow Husk and spend some time observing the quote-unquote ebb and flow here. There's not a lot of traffic.
No.
Actually, make a perception check, Spice. While Spice is kind of wandering off, is there anybody else doing anything?
Yeah. So I had set my ghost onto the camera, so I'm
Correct.
gonna keep eyes on. I'm basically keeping watch, and then I also want to check out that thumb drive that Echo has.
Okay.
25.
25. With the 25, as you're kind of observing, every now and then you do hear off in the distance the rev of like a motorcycle, maybe either the backfire of a vehicle or a single gunshot, but it's relatively quiet. You do hear machinery and dripping and the ambient noises of this abandoned part of the space station. But nobody approaches. You don't notice any kind of like messenger. I know Bubs had said that perhaps somebody was coming, but nobody seems to approach at this point anyways.
Yeah.
Echo would, if there was a way to assist Shade in researching the drive, Echo would assist.
So
Did you restart your systems?
when you say researching the drive, what are you explicitly what are you doing?
Can we check the contents?
Yeah, I'm gonna set my exocortex to like, well, I guess I will physically inspect it and then, do the old check for
Make an engineering check.
science tech
science.
traps. I can't think of the word for that.
I would like to
Firewalls and
do
all
a
that
check for
shit.
science.
And then after that, then I'll try to get all the data from it safely.
Absolutely.
All right, that's a 34 for the initial computers check.
Okay. So looking at this, this is a almost like a stick drive, like a thumb drive, and it is coded not to be super like it's not large. This couldn't even really hold like an especially long video, and so you would imagine that this is probably designed to hold documents, to hold maybe a code or a password, maybe just a single message, but it's very, very small, whatever's within this. You don't notice any physical signs of tampering, and so this seems to be, at least on the outside, stock to what it was bought as. However, it probably does have some elements of, encryption and computerized protection, but there's nothing that's going to explode upon touching it.
Cool, I'm gonna start hacking it then.
Make a computers check and take a +6 conditional modifier as you have Echo helping you.
Back me up in case I start to get wacky.
I have healing to do,
Okay.
but I have to do it in a weird way
Okay.
to utilize better resources.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Then.
Yes.
Nice, 35.
Okay.
Oh, +6, so 41.
Yeah! Sorry, I'm really excited about that.
You feel the inside of your eye socket heat up as the exocortex spins to life, and you easily bypass the firewall that's attached to this. There is, with an extremely high DC, an auto format that's set to kick off should you try to break into this. The DC for that is 38, and so very, very close were you on that. But ultimately, all that is within this is 13 or 14 documents. All of them are what look like shipping manifests that are addressed to a place called Pallades Rock Assemblage Number 12. And Echo, with you looking at this and given the...
Yeah, I would do like the projecting the contents so that Echo can see when I see that it's Pallades.
I'm just gonna watch them do this.
Sure. So Echo, as you see the data and these shipping manifests just boom, 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 be projected onto the wall in front of you, there is one of these, and it's one of the ones that's dated most recently, and almost instantly, though you would like to be able to shut it out, there is a flash memory of looking into that crate that you had seen open, and you look over just feet away from you. And there is a similar number of items listed, and this is all in VESC, items listed as there were body parts in that container.
It appears to be a shipping manifest with spare parts.
And Echo, like, meaningfully looks over at the lockbox.
Okay.
Does it have... So there are 12 or 13 documents.
Correct.
All listed as having come from Pallades Rock.
All listed as destined for Pallades Rock.
Oh, okay.
Assemblage
And assemblage 12. Assemblage 12. So are all of the parts, as it were, that we saw in that container, is that on one of the documents, or is that all of the documents and all of the parts?
Echo would know that it's just one document corresponds to this one container.
Okay.
And it's the most recently dated, which stands to reason that the other ones have already left.
Yeah. Okay.
With that check. So Gibbs, how are you healing? What is your unconventional way?
So, I have a thing I've never used before called Healing Touch. And this looks a little bit more mechanical than magical, but once per day, I can spend 10 minutes to magically heal an ally up to 5 hit points per mystic level.
Okay.
So, does that mean once per day I can heal an ally, or I have a pool of 40 that I can split up?
I think it's pool of 40 you can split up.
I don't think so. Give me one second here.
Because that's how it is for,
Touch,
like,
right?
cleric
Correct,
healing.
but it once per day you can spend 10 minutes to magically heal an ally. So technically,
So if it's once per day, it can only be an ally, which
Okay.
would mean that you can use all of that pool or as much of it as you want. But once you've used that ability once, you can't
Okay.
use it again.
so then I will.
Can you use it on yourself?
Yeah, I'm an
Yep.
ally. So day 1, I will heal myself 40
Okay.
hit points, bringing me up to a grand total of 41.
Okay.
And then after the rest, I will heal somebody else 40.
So that's not quite how that works.
It's a full 24-hour day,
Correct.
not like a 24-hour I do it at the
And
end.
Gibbs, you've never done this before. So as you kind of touch yourself, all around there is little bits of, and you can see, like, you hear this as a bottle rolls out on the floor. And for all of you, as you look around, and Spice, as you're watching out there, this is really the loudest thing that you hear. You turn around and, like, one of the crates slides a little bit, and from out underneath you see this little bit of trash juice just kind of move out. And you remember Gibbs had champagne sprayed this garbage juice to heal all of you across the room. Now, as you all watch, little bits of it kind of closer and closer and kind of seep their way like caterpillars up onto Gibbs and make their way back towards the bottle. Parts of it kind of seep into your skin, and where there are bruises and injuries, they become healed, if not less pleasant.
Nice.
As Gibbs is doing this and Shade is like displaying the information on the wall, I'm like next to Echo and Shade. I'm just going to say, I don't see how all this connects together, and I also don't understand all these other variables. I mean, what is Emma doing here? Is she involved or watching us, or Potato, or what about? I swear, you know, when we first came into the husk, there was that diver who, you know, there was a sniper shot, and that bullet we found, it awfully seemed like that sniper that killed, Taco X Black Black.
Yes.
I think it's all connected. And I think
I largely followed what you said, except for Taco X Black
Oh,
Black.
well, you weren't there, but basically, like, it was like
A previous assignment.
yeah, and like, it was like for Jacinto, basically, we were like trying to receive this thing called Project. Oh, it was like the same Project Cuttlefish. that
Project
we-
Cuttlefish
on the
from
on
the
the ship,
train.
yeah.
Ah,
And like, basically, we were like getting the prototype, and it was
I
like
have
stolen.
read the file,
Oh, okay.
but I did not realize his name was Taco X.
it was his gamer tag, but that's all we remember about him. And that he died in front of us while we were talking to him from
Upon
a sniper shot.
apprehension, he was eliminated by a sniper. We did not locate the source. The sniper bullet was the same as the one found on the body that was...
But he had
shot.
said something. He had
Yes.
he had
said a lot
known
of
something.
things.
And
Someone within Jacinto is keeping information from us by eliminating anyone who could potentially tell us those pieces of information.
but you know who would know? And you know who does know? It's definitely the director. I mean, he always has these cryptic things about how we're meant to be here, and
I think there's.
Who is the game company's parent company?
Jacinto, right?
No. I don't. So actually, Shade, you had done a check previously, and so you would know. Give me just one moment. This.
The Game Station Company?
No, so Game Guy is the name of the console.
Console, yeah.
Give me-
Are you asking about that company or the company that contracted us
No,
to go
the
after this guy?
That made the game that the divers are all stuck in.
Oh, yes. Okay. I did do a search for that. I forget.
So Fantasy Quest is both the name of the game and the name of the company. The company technically is called Fantasy Quest FD for Full Dive. That's the sort of thing that you came up with. There's almost no information. It's been somebody has paid a lot of money to have this information removed.
Right.
It's like a pretty recognizable corporate job.
Yeah. Okay.
Judging by the erasure of the data from the infosphere, it can only mean that a company with a large amount of money has paid vast sums to scrub the incident. And there are many corporations who could potentially have that sum. Only one that I can think of to mind would have their hands in so many other technical aspects, including our own missions.
What company is that?
Jacinto.
Well, Jacintos also sent us on that mission we failed.
Jacinto seems to have sent Mosaic Team 5 on many missions.
That was my leading suspicion, given the fact that these occurrences have happened on missions that are relevant to Jacinto.
I wonder, however, with Pleiades Rock association with Harbinger Robotics, if there is a connection with Harbinger Robotics and Jacinto as well.
That was also something that I had considered, but I have not figured out what that connection is yet.
Can I? Sorry. Could you maybe define for me what Pleiades Rock is a place or
Pleiades
a
Rock is a
company?
now defunct company that used to produce Echo units.
Well, it's not defunct if they're sending.
Weaponry. They are no longer defunct, but that is information that is not widely known.
But officially on paper, and Bubs shows the article that, that he looked up the other.
All of us, solidarity.
It's the article that basically said Pleiades Rock closed its last factory a couple days ago.
It's okay.
How dare you?
You only talk like this all the time. I don't know how you do that.
So I mean, it's officially off paper, but I mean they're still active.
And they would benefit from probably not paying taxes at least, but probably being more nefarious than they ever were before.
The whole plot is about tax evasion.
That's how they got Al Capone.
I know. I just love. Oh man, I couldn't have even thought of something that dumb, and I love that. That would be that is the kind of plot point that's so dumb that it's genius.
All their money's in a Swiss bank account.
It's gotta be the taxes.
No, well, my point is sure, that's one benefit of being now functioning under the radar, right? But the other benefit is when you're when you're publicly traded, it's you always see those articles about ousting CEOs and stuff. There's more scrutiny when you're public.
Well, that is true. I cannot see the benefit to a corporation be operating so clandestinely. It is not good for profit.
What if they make more profit by buying from people who don't care about that stuff or benefit from the privacy, selling to Jacinto or Harbinger?
Whatever Pleiades Rock involvement is likely to do with the GPF and or the USR. I believe that any of these corporations are acting in the interests of both of those groups.
And I hate to rain on your idea, Gibbs, and I want to think that Emma was here for because she loves the Hollow Husk and it's her home too. I think back to what Steele told me, how a server was broke into in the Hollow Husk, and I just can't think that maybe she's still working for the GPF, and I got this nosebleed before we entered this Zonguthong cultist area, and I only get those when Hunter is trying to send me a message, and I think she's watching me because Emma appeared right after we were there. So she probably knows something if we could just find Hunter.
Can we get to the blue tower?
Spice is like sitting on a crate holding this guitar, like looking to the left out this big warehouse door.
Oh, babe, where'd you get that guitar?
No, I found it over there. It's fucking dope.
Oh my god, babe, we could like do more shows with this.
Yeah.
Spice is correct, though. We need to stay on the task at hand.
At least Potato Blue will answer some questions. Who's hurt now in the morning, and how hurt?
Are you guys taking a longer rest? Are you guys gonna sleep here?
I don't think so.
Going to.
Yeah, we had talked right before session about like we scoped out the building across the street and we're gonna take a long rest. Like that was how we ended session. I thought that was a bad idea.
I was
then,
going to short
but-
rest and then just keep watch the whole time so that everyone else
Yeah,
could
entirely up to you guys. Whatever you want
I'm
to do.
okay to just get my my stamina
do you-
back.
I'm trying to think, what do we have that are countdown timers besides the echo,
Everything's a countdown timer.
Yeah, there is. The world is
Time
also
is not. Yeah, time is fluid.
But like
it
the only thing I'm
continues.
saying, like right now, the only like mental thing I think that's like a countdown is the Echo transport that might be hijacked. The what is it?
It's a little different for every person. So, everybody, I would imagine, without saying anything out loud, has something that is pressing them. But in terms of like the Mosaic Team 5, like Mosaic Corporation plotline, you are mostly supposed to be trying to, at least for the moment, it seems like find the Hulk of the Husk.
So
we do have time to rest.
I mean,
We need to rest.
Okay.
well, you're not. You said you're not resting,
I will keep watch.
but you're gonna get tired if you don't
I
sleep.
will be okay. You need to rest.
I mean, I definitely do. I'm not volunteering myself, but okay.
Okay. Good night.
Oh, can we like
Spice curls up in a nice nest of tires.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
You drag a bunch of old bike tires out and a few like shredded, what are probably like tires that were kind of like destroyed and discarded. And it's a bed, I guess.
Can I set up my proximity helmet for the door?
Yeah.
Bubs will join Spice, but like try to find like the cleanest corner of the tires.
They're all used.
Looks like it's got some
And,
I'm gonna try to
around
lay
it.
on Spice.
Okay.
Okay. Spice is just at the bottom.
It's like a mattress.
I'm imagining
Could you
Bub's
move
just
over a
playing
little?
I can't breathe.
Your rib cage is digging into my back a little.
Stop breathing.
So you're keeping watch.
I'm keeping watch.
Okay.
And yeah, I have the exocortex so that I can get the view from the other side. So if there's activity over there, and then I will physically keep watch from like inside our
Okay.
little hidey spot.
Very cool. So you all tuck yourselves away sort of behind the elements of refuse and you begin to take a rest. Shade, can you make a perception check?
Do I get? Can I make a perception check for myself and my exocortex, or do they just count as the same?
Exocortex is only allowing you to use a single action to make a computer's check, and that's not a perception check. So no.
Right, but it's in my implanted ghost, which is currently giving me a feed from that camera.
You could make a check with either one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right,
it's,
that's what I was just wondering.
It's
if
kind
that
of
was
like-
It enables
baked
you to-
into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
perception
yeah.
check, or if that was a separate thing.
yeah.
Cool. That's good. I like that number because that makes it a 34.
Okay.
Yeah. Math is cool.
With a 34. The first couple hours go by and it's pretty quiet. There is a period in time, probably around the third or fourth hour, where across the street you think you might see some element of movement. Are you going to go out and investigate it?
Stealthily, I'm going to try to get a better view.
Okay, make a stealth check.
They're gonna fuck us all.
Yep.
No, I'm not,
Okay,
because
well,
that's 26.
Hey.
26. You go out and you take a look and you see what looks almost like at this distance some kind of a metallic glint across the street that almost certainly wasn't there before. As you like turn your head, you can still see this little shine out of the corner of your eye, and you would imagine you would have seen that had it been there before.
Okay.
Certainly different. And as you look with that check, you can't quite see anything else, but that seems to be maybe something. And it's right there on that store across the street.
Is it like large enough to be a figure?
No.
It's MQ.
What's that?
Can I get closer to see?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Okay.
It's where?
I-
We're in the store across the street, and it's in the store across the street?
No, it's in the spot with the altar and everything.
Yeah. So like
We're in
you
the store across the street.
yeah, so like if you think about it, you guys have kind of like swap places
Right.
now. So you guys are like almost using elements of what at one point was probably like a service counter of some kind as like the barrier between you and the street. And so you have all sort of assembled yourselves there.
So
Assembled for service.
It's from where we came from, or is it in the
it's
warehouse?
in the warehouse.
Okay.
And so,
So you're
if
going
you
back
Not
into the
MQ.
warehouse?
almost from the direction that Emma had disappeared in from around that little alleyway, it's like on the corner of the warehouse right there. And it seems to be about 4 feet up on the wall.
So this being in the same orientation that it was, altar's over here, we're over here. It's here?
Correct.
Okay. So if I'm remembering correctly, if I come out here sneaky like, and then there's like the second level, and there's that dumpster pile.
Not on the second level.
No, but there's the trash
Out front,
pile.
yeah.
Can I get around to there to get a better view?
You can. The trash is pushed up against a chain link fence, and so it's not really easy to hide behind, but you could get to it very easily. I mean,
I guess I want to get wherever I need to be sneaky still, but to see what the thing is, because right now I'm thinking it's like some sort of drone or like a small creature that's trying to recover something from.
And it's on the first level, correct?
it's on like the street level, and you can see like right outside there is at one point maybe it was like a shipping crate of some kind. It's made out of metal and it's empty now. And you can actually see straight through it where bullet casings have kind of gone through and some point, and the rust has taken over, so it was a long time ago. But you can definitely go over there and use that as cover. It's like almost 5 feet tall.
Cool.
And so no problem with your check. You kind of over there.
Okay.
You're alone on the street as far as you can see. You look to the left and the right, and you don't see any figures or movement. And glancing up and across, you can see now almost like a U-shape bracket that has a bare metal backing. And it looks like at some point something was slotted in there and has since been removed.
Like since
You're seeing shiny metal because something was there to block it previously and is no longer there.
so someone came without me noticing, took it out and left, and now there's no one there.
Correct.
A U bracket, you said?
Yeah, so if you imagine almost like what
It's like
you...
a little thing here, and there was something here, and it got taken out. So now
Exactly.
Like a USB
exactly.
drive, but the female version of it.
I was thinking almost like like a smoke detector, how those slide into place, then
Yeah.
you slide them out. It's like something was slid
Slotted
away,
like a
and
disc
you
was
can now
slotted
see.
into it or
Correct.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Do I need to get closer to see what that would have been, or can I?
Probably. I mean, as far as you can tell, it's just like a metallic bracket, and so you might be able to find a brand or something like that. But it could be very much like R3M, where their adhesive strips are in every single thing known to
It's just
a
like-
person. It may not give you a ton of information because it's just a metal bracket.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm going to just ping to Echo. Someone has been in the warehouse since we left.
Echo starts up
Oh.
and
Not if it messes up your rest.
it goes and finds Shade.
Put it on read.
Okay.
And I would go back to, because I'm not going to keep looking, because it
Yeah.
seems like it's already it's come and gone, whatever came and took it, so.
So you guys meet about halfway and duck back into the shop.
Yeah. Something has been taken from across the street. It was after we had fought in there. I did not see them on camera, but they must have taken... And then I'll kind of show the footage of the little, like, spot that has the missing disc or unit, whatever is missing.
Okay.
Is it possible the feed was looped? Is there a way to access perhaps another vantage point?
Is there? That was the only camera that we saw.
That
right?
you've seen so far, yeah.
Um,
And you, I mean, to be clear, you looped the camera. You can still see the actual live feed, but
Right.
there is a loop in there. You would imagine, based on the fact that you have root access to this this. I mean, it's a very simple, like,
it's
closed
like
circuit kind of deal. You would imagine that you would see anything that was looped in, and almost it would have to be manually accessed or accessed within a similar range to your wireless hack, because I mean, there's no real connection to it.
no. I tell you that.
Then how is it possible that something was removed and there is no footage of it?
Wasn't it removed on the wall out?
Yeah, it's out of sight line.
It's out of sightline because the camera is into the warehouse, but this was kind of on the edge of it, right?
It would be close.
Yeah.
Like you can see on the edge of the side, like the sidewalk in front of the warehouse. So you probably would see feet. But I mean,
What if
is
they
it
were
conceivable?
floating? What if they were floating? We all float down here.
Sold.
It would be
That seems
possible
like a
to sneak by, given the angle of the camera. And I have not been keeping close eyes on that particular area in my watch.
Perhaps you desire a second pair of eyes.
I think whoever took that information is going to present themselves at some point. We just need to be prepared. Right now, we're not in any situation to confront anyone. We need the whole team to rest, and then we will go after Potato Blue.
Understood.
I'm gonna light up another cigarette and get back to my watch.
Sure, no problem. You light up a cigarette, and the rest of your watch goes by without issue.
Can I timestamp when I noticed that the thing was missing?
Yeah,
Try and, like,
about
keep
4 hours into your watch, which puts it at 3:31 p.m. on 4/13/50, which is a Saturday.
Can I go back through the camera feed to see, like, to make sure that, like, this is the time that it was taken?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I'll
quick,
do that.
remembering of dialogue. The Zonkuthon Vest guy, he said to the bub thinking he was the cultist, he said, "You're late."
Correct.
Right? Okay, so that would be a lot of time to be late for it if it was plus the fighting, plus that. So I don't think it's...
Or he was intercepted on the way. Right. You
So
can
one by
never
one, you
recover.
guys wake up. And for those of you who took a rest, you can mark off all the benefits of that.
1 HP.
Per character level. So everyone gets 8 HP.
Okay.
Are you staying up to keep watch as well?
When Shade said that everyone needs to get rest, Echo would have.
You can mark off a long rest as well. A long rest. You can mark off a rest as well.
You can mark off 2 short rests.
Okay. I am healed.
So SP is after 10 minutes, right?
No, SP is after a full night's rest, you regain all your stamina points automatically.
At the cost of a resolve point.
No. You can only You only have to spend a resolve point to regain all your stamina as if you're doing it on a short rest.
Oh, I thought
After a
that's what
full
it said.
night's rest, you regain your stamina points automatically.
Not health.
Yeah, so I used a resolve point, so I was just taking a short rest.
And there's lots of different class and background features that give you the ability to generate some HP back at night, but I'm not 100% clear on who has what for that.
And then we all get
I
like
got
8
5.
HP back.
Everyone gets 8.
Okay.
I'm full up because I took 40 the night before.
I'm good.
You're good.
I'm like missing a little bit of HP, but I'm good.
Okay.
I'm fine.
I'm at like 50% HP.
Alright, well, it's kind of an all or nothing thing. So everyone heals, because I rolled it earlier, 23 HP.
So
Oh, in addition?
another 23.
Yes.
Using the garbage
I'm
juice?
spending a resolve point.
I'm back to full.
So I will be now full -1 resolve point, but I'm fine to do that.
Cool.
And then
So it's 8 and 23.
8 and 23. You get 8 naturally, and then I wake up in the morning and I'm like, you still look like shit.
31 total.
All right.
That's the motion that Gibbs chooses to use too. You look like shit.
All right.
So, Alter, Ice Wizard. We're looking for the Hunter of Potato Blue.
Yeah, we know
and
where the tower is. Let's go.
You're looking for the Tower of the Blue Hunter.
Yes.
And as you kind of finish your rest and you all make your way out to the edge of the store, looking out and to your right, you can see looming up this huge tower that is festooned with elements of like almost Times Square panels that at this point are just glowing a dim blue to indicate that the systems themselves have died.
There's still nothing in terms of Prime Station police presence because we had contacted what's his face, Demp,
Yeah, not yet.
to pick up the bodies, right?
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
You haven't seen anything relating to
Any sort of like
sense. The only person that's seen anything even remotely like Prime law enforcement has been Gibbs, seeing like flashing lights at one point.
gotcha.
But largely they don't really come here, and so I would say make a
More of a project for them to coming.
make a sense motive check.
They probably
I
aren't
did
coming.
this, yeah.
It's gonna, it's like a,
Corrupt police.
it's a 4.
Yeah, it's probably just
they're probably
rampant
on the
corruption. Most governments.
They'll probably be here soon.
I mean, who will watch the
They
Watchers?
probably just didn't want to deal with it on the late night shift. They're probably just waiting for the morning guys.
Right,
to
it's
come
like
in.
Cop
3
in
p.m.
Shade was a cop
You
for like
on
3
Blue
hours.
Lives Matter? Ew.
God, no. Don't even say
Shade was
that.
a shorts bike cop briefly.
Yeah,
even in- not
damn.
even in
But only for a
fantasy
day. You
world.
sucked at it.
Yeah, you're pretty bad at it.
And
Which
at the top
actually,
of
no, to be fair, he was bad at it because he had very troublesome tourists in his town.
Yeah, it's never the cops' problem. It's all the people.
Did I
Well, you picked bad company, let's be honest.
The cops?
You. At the top of the Tower of the Blue Hunter, you'll find what you seek. There is real danger here. Beware the Ice Mage of Mazagaji.
Mazagaji.
That sounds like a name
Mazagazi?
you would have been related to.
Mahala, Mahaka, Makagawewa.
I had
Manu
looked it up.
Kake.
The Ice Mage of Mazagaji is a character in the game.
Yes.
Continue. Paul.
That's it. That's the end.
Okay.
I just read the 2 lines that are relevant. We
It
did
is
it.
likely that we will encounter Potato Blue when we get to the top of the tower.
Is that the Ice Mage?
Do we think that is? Yeah, that's my question. Let's find
The
out.
Ice Mage is most likely Emma. We've already encountered her.
Oh, interesting
makes
take,
sense.
sir.
The only thing is that this is the Tower of the Hunter of Blue, which means that there could be someone looking for Potato Blue as well.
Is
I
it
feel like
Emma?
Blue is sending us on a quest to just like take care of their problems.
It is also likely, given the information that we now have, that Potato Blue is the one behind the Hulk of the Husk.
It's their friend. The Hulk is Potato's friend.
That's the most reliable piece of information we haven't proven. Unless it was, what was the other girl? What was her-
Cassandra or
Yeah,
whatever.
Cassandra had some theory that we haven't proven one way or the other.
She thought it was with the Vesk.
Right.
Now, what the fuck was the Vesk doing here is the question.
Good cultist.
Well, the cultist we found, the Servant of Midnight, was not the Hulk of the Husk, which
Yeah,
was one of
exactly.
the. Right. Okay.
It seems as if the cultists of Zonkuthon are collecting parts to send to the people at Pallades Rock.
But what is the Veskarium got tied into this somehow?
Why do the Zonkuthon speak Vesk? Why are
That is my question as well.
It's possible that their interests are aligned.
Do not forget, the USR and GPF are also involved in this.
Correct.
Again, all of these individual governments, frequently at war with each other, are connected. However, that is not our focus right now, and we must stay on task.
Right, we've got to find Potato for Slinky. That's the quest at hand.
So
Very normal sounding sentence.
Bubs is going to look at the 3 maps that he has.
Okay.
He's collided into one. And he's going to try to find, like, the least destroyed, because I know a lot of there's like a destroyed area, like easy accessible path to get to maybe the entrance of the tower or something. And just trying to, like, plot us forward. I think Bubs is going to take a lead, trying to lead everyone.
Okay, so you're going to take a lead and try and delete everybody. Go ahead and, if you could, make a survival check.
Does he get any bonuses for?
You do.
going up?
Take a +8 conditional modifier. This is a place that is very familiar to you. And as you look at the map, I mean, you're getting closer and closer to, I mean...
The dumpster where you go to find.
No, you're getting a little further away from that, actually, but
15 plus 12 is...
closer to areas that some of you have been to. What was that?
27.
27.
Nice. I have very good survival.
With a 27, actually, it kind of occurs to you, you're aware of perhaps what this tower is. There's a trio of towers that were built as... so you've actually found flyers for a company called Habahome. Before they attempted to move in, there was another group that tried to build luxury condos within the husk, and that went about as well as you would expect.
Really well.
Yeah. There's only one that is still standing. It is called Hule's Tower. And it would be about the size of this tower, although it wasn't dripping with blue paint the last time you saw it. It didn't have all these LED panels that are all this dead blue kind of glowing in the distance. It didn't have tarps flapping off it, but that might be what it is. And if that's the case, you know that at the very bottom of it, there is this like grand atrium-like structure that was very widely mocked because they had a claim that the glass that they had mounted to the front could withstand anything, and it was broken within the first day. But it's a pretty straight shot, and you have a couple of different ways that you could go, but as long as you are fine with taking just the straight streets, you could go almost straight there. There's just a single turn that you would need to make to deviate from like a straight shot.
So guys, so looking at the map, it's either a straight shot forward, but there's some other like roundabout ways we could go that might be more like or less inconspicuous.
I think the riddles told us everything we need to know. And I think we go the way that it's implied. We know that we're walking into danger, so we can do the straight shot with care. What does your compass say?
I'm gonna pull out the compass and I'm gonna look.
Does it still point to the blue tower?
It's and sorry, remind me again who is registered to it?
Blue.
It is no longer pointed to the blue tower.
What?
Oh,
Where does it point?
guys, it's not pointing to the tower anymore.
I think we should finish the
What
quest
direction
anyway.
is it going?
So as you orient yourself, the tower from where you are right now is like northwest.
Mm-hmm.
Potato Blue is almost due the opposite direction.
What?
Southeast.
Are we in
Wait,
between?
where are they towards their house?
No.
Guys, so I remember the last time it was pointing in the direction of the tower.
Do you know where you are on the map?
I don't know where the map is.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
look for it.
I don't have it.
Yeah.
Guys, I remember.
Oh wait, it's right here. Sorry.
I remember where we are. We're kind of
I
like
remember.
Yeah. So we're
in the.
heading.
Here, I want to take away any kind of ambiguity.
Okay.
We're along this yellow street there, right?
Hey.
Yeah.
Nice.
We are there.
And Joe, just real quick, can you tell me where was the
Just want to make sure I got all the right one.
This purple guy.
where was
Or
the
the blue
tunnel
guy?
with the
So it's like
with the
this little
mannequins?
triangle building right there.
Where was
Gotcha.
the tunnels with the mannequins? Can you put that? Where
The tunnel with the mannequins.
Put that Advil there.
Not tunnel, but the kind of path is this, and it wrapped
Yeah.
around that way.
That right here, so it wraps around that way. This area right here was the last time I used the compass, and it pointed to Blue's tower.
And
Correct.
now it's
And
pointing
so
down
that was
this way.
pointing in this direction, north.
So now it's pointing down this
You
way.
would probably, I think if I remember correctly, you did it when you guys had traveled to right around here, right before the turn started. So it was like directly due north, I believe. But yeah, it's this is based on what you have seen, this is the tower right here, and this is where you are.
We're
And
so
it's pointing
close.
now this way?
That is where the direction of the Potato Blue
compass.
is. Yeah.
So Shade's thinking, could Potato Blue have been the person to take that information from the U bracket?
With a 4-sense motive, who knows? Could be anyone.
Yeah, could be
So
anyone.
it seems either Potato Blue or whoever has Potato Blue, has moved because this only tracks Potato Blue.
Well, did we fail our quest because we didn't sneak? It said sneak past the altar of
No, we did.
I don't think we
didn't
failed, but I
sneak.
think
It's like a World of Warcraft raid where you have to like stand up, sit down. The guy does a prayer: stand up, go 5 steps forward, sit down. Go one
and
step to the left, go one
and
step to
then
the
it's
right,
like,
but only in
compass is
alternating currents. Yeah.
now Charlie Brown.
But at the very least, we should go to the top of the blue tower. You think?
Yes.
I mean, the quest says how to get to the tower, and Blue is there, but I think our mission is to find Potato Blue because that's where the Hulk of the Husk is. So, I mean,
Correct.
and we wasted a lot of time just, trying to recover ourselves. So maybe it just, let's keep it simple, guys. Maybe Potato Blue just left.
We are making a lot of assumptions.
That's correct as well. I believe we should continue to the top of the tower, see if we can find any answers there, and if we need to, we will continue to track down Potato Blue.
And if you will also regard the poem that Potato Blue left behind. The poem does not say that we will find Potato Blue.
Says we'll find what we'll seek.
We do not seek Potato Blue.
We seek
What?
the Hulk of the Husk.
Oh.
Potato Blue was one road to the Hulk of the Husk.
But we'll double back at the end, right?
No.
Why?
For
If we
Slinky?
can, we will try, but that is not a priority.
And it's not like the compass is, it's still pointing someplace, and they're not dead. So
No,
I
I'm
mean,
saying why
That's
couldn't we
true.
double back around? Why can't we save Slinky? I don't understand why you wouldn't want
Priority
to.
is not to save Slinky.
Yeah,
it is
but
to find
once
the
we-
Hulk of the Husk so that we do not have to abandon any missions on Prime Station.
I'm just saying, if we get to the Hulk of the Husk, we get the Hulk, whatever, take it down. What's the problem with going to get Slinky?
We are still on thin ice with the authorities here.
Yeah, what better than to save an innocent little Isoki?
We do not know if Potato Blue is innocent. In fact, it seems most likely that Potato Blue is behind the Hulk of the Husk.
I
Ooh,
believe
more
it
money.
is important to visit the top of the tower.
Agreed.
Okay, so
From there, we can decide what to do next.
Thank you.
Whether that is going directly to Prime Station security or going after Potato Blue.
yeah, that makes sense.
One step at a time.
1 potato, 2 potato, red potato, blue potato.
Is everyone ready to move?
Yeah.
Watch each other's backs. We know we're going into danger. And then we move.
You make your way off. Can everybody make perception checks, please? As you watch each other's backs.
1/2 this time, 7.
Also 7.
Oh!
Lucky triple
But
sevens.
plus
That's
14.
lucky, right?
Seven.
So
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's the jackpot, isn't it?
Now you're dirty 20.
Okay.
21.
God.
25.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I got a
Waves of Cortex is hacking.
24.
24, okay. So you make your way out of this kind of shop and in the direction of this tower that Bubs has recognized as Huel's Tower. It rises up into the sky, a single intact apartment building around a sort of lot that is just ruined rubble around it. It's concrete and steel, although there are several LED panels that still flicker and cling to the structure, all experiencing the blue screen that indicates the systems themselves died long ago. There's blue paint that has been poured out of several of the windows, and it runs down the face that is pointed towards all of you, along with these torn tarps that flutter slightly in the breeze above.
As we're walking, I'm going to just do I have service on my infosphere?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a quick search to see if I can find any map or blueprints of Huel Tower.
Okay. Make a cultures check.
Ooh, natural 20. Boom.
Natural 20. You
Time to
pull up
poke
the
in that.
infosphere, you type in HUL, and you know how sometimes when you've been like thinking and talking about things, your like device ambiently like
Yeah.
pulls things up. All of a sudden, this little advertisement, like a pop-up, just comes up. And it's this like old looking like human dude, and he is in front of what you recognize as like a 10 years ago Hollow Husk. This is like the Hollow Husk where it is kind of like Detroit was 10 years ago. Still not great, but better than it is now. There are people that still live there. More than just like the one Yosoki that currently does.
Low blow.
No, Detroit is in recovery currently.
Yeah.
10 years ago, it was not.
Better than it is now.
Yes.
Is better than. It
I guess
was 10
that's
years
true.
ago.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Detroit. You see this old timey gentleman turn around, and he kind of smiles into the camera and begins to talk about Huel's Tower. And it is the entire little like investors pitch.
Hi, I'm Huel.
And he walks you through. It's actually the person who owned the original company that Huel's Industries is parented by, was Samuel Huels. But and I would say, Bubs, you get that if you really want.
My great grandpappy.
He walks through and shows you that the first floor is this beautiful atrium. It has bulletproof glass that can withstand even ballistic missiles. There is, on the second floor, laundries, maintenance, and security offices, all of your needs without ever leaving Huel's Tower. The third floor is entirely dedicated to a 24/7 management office. You can always get in touch with supervision. There is a storage center there as well. And then the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th floors are all apartments. The 9th floor is apparently going to be penthouse apartments converted over from a regular sort of modular floor.
You missed 7 and 8. Are those
7, 8 apartments as well.
4 through 8 is
4 through 8.
Okay, I thought it was 4 through 6.
So 1 through 3 amenities, essentially, we'll say.
Yeah.
And then 9 is the super
First is
secret
atrium,
special
second
place.
is maintenance, security, laundry, third floor is 24/7 maintenance and storage.
Management and storage, yeah.
Management, yeah.
Correct.
Cool.
And yeah, you find all that out. You see that there are roughly 4 what are like almost apartments on either every floor. Each one has multiple rooms. Excuse me. There's a central laundry chute that runs down the entirety of the building, and so there are actually several safety citations as a result, and multiple things have been done to that to make it a little bit less of a 9-story fall should you fall in. But yeah, you have all that information.
Bob says I think he's going to just broadcast the video to everyone.
Okay.
And he'll do it with like, the volume off.
Okay. No problem.
It's not so
Womp, 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 womp.
It's almost like the Jurassic Park like infographic that they watched while they got into the Jeep. It's very much like the same kind of tone.
subtitles on.
Yeah.
Or like the Fallout.
Yeah, very much
videos.
like that. So you found yourself in the Hollow Husk.
Well, if you have your trusty Huel boy.
So it's up to you, Captain, how you want to approach this.
Let us see what we're dealing with first. It may be useful to know about the laundry chute. That may be a way to get up.
Remember the last time we were in a shoot together? And we tied ourselves all together and then we just went straight down? That was a fond memory for me.
You make your way closer to the door. And before too long, you can see just across one last remaining street, several destroyed public transit kind of train cars have fallen down and now are kind of wrecked around the front. And there's rubble off to either side of this building where almost certainly identical structures have fallen over time. But Huel's Tower stands up tall and proud, and you can see into the atrium itself. All the glass has been shattered. And there are navy carpets with tan and gold diamond patterns across that run wall to wall in circular arrangements, little similarly mildewy couches. You can smell that there is moisture in here. At some point, maybe some kind of a leak, but the smell of mildew is pretty strong, with the exception of you, Bubs. You smell nothing.
Is there any evidence as we approach of like attempts to barricade it or mark the territory or graffiti that would indicate that like we're stepping
Make a
on
survival
someone's
check.
toes? Gladly. What's that? plus 13 is 23.
So on the far wall, you can see past rows of potted plastic plants and red plants, all still like vibrant in this dark and dreary space. There is a 10-foot wide circular lift of glass, and you can see there are areas there that look like they have been repatched and kind of repaired, and so that lift probably functional and has been restored since the tower itself has fallen into ruin.
By amateur hands or by like super nifty techie hands?
I would say with that check, kind of hard to tell without getting closer.
Cool.
You do see there are elements of glass left in that kind of elevator car, but all just like spider webs of cracks. There is a dim blue emergency light on within that shaft, which would make you really believe that it probably is still functional. You see outside in the front, there are signs of struggle for sure. You can see all along the front of the tower, there are little dugout elements in the concrete that are signs of ballistics, and you see bullets, laser scorch marks. But you don't smell ozone, you don't smell gunpowder, and so these are all old. Nothing immediately new. But I would say make a perception check, Gibbs. There's something that to you
13 plus a million plus 14 is 27.
Do you get a Yosoki bonus for things?
Only if I'm gonna be sick.
What?
I'm a wastelander, and
Gotcha.
I have moxie, I have cheek pouches, and I'm a wastelander.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say with that check, there's something that kind of puts your fur on edge, but you're not quite sure what. And in this place where you can smell mildew and mold, stuff that is the wrong kind of that like bacterial moldy growth, it's kind of hard to tell what that might be. Maybe just black mold.
You know, they never found a cure for black mold. They still run ads for mesothelioma and the weekday fryer. Yeah.
Most black mold is actually rather harmless. It's when it's spores.
Also true.
Okay, tell that to the mesothelioma people.
It is one particular type of myconium.
And the guild of I can't say the word. The mesothelioma.
If you or your loved ones, guys.
I know those ads by heart.
Right.
Yeah.
Jim Sokolov.
So you all stand across the street from this atrium structure. There's no glass standing between you and the structure itself, so you can just enter if you want.
Cautiously enter.
Be careful.
Bob is just gonna follow second behind Shade.
You make your way in, and the smell of mildew really kind of takes over. And when you step, there's a slight to the turn down the nostrils.
Olfactory receptors.
But there is a slight squish to the carpet here. And you, as you're kind of walking in and get further towards the back, there is a little bit of standing water, and it is like there's a little sheen of like mold across the top. It has just been sitting there, still unmoving, no breeze, nothing to move it, until you all kind of like step and disturb it.
Mosquito
Is this
heaven.
that
There's no
scene
mosquitoes
online
here.
where they show the basement and they're like, "Oh, it looks like such a nice finished basement floor," and then he throws something and it just breaks because it's all like mold and mildew over water.
It would splash. It's not any more than an inch deep at the deepest part, and the carpet has really soaked up a lot of it.
more like
but it's enough to splash. Yes.
Old chowder that's been sitting there.
So
Yes,
if
very much.
we're disrupting the mold that's on the surface, does that mean that no one's passed through here in a bit?
You
With
would
my knowledge of mold and the quickness of which it festers?
make. I would say with the checks that you have made,
Yes.
it seems like that lift, while functional and it has been restored, hasn't been used recently. And I would say, without having to make another check, actually make a life sciences check. As you get down, you begin to examine the mold. You're like, this is
I don't know
black
why I'm
mold, but
doing
is it the
this.
bad kind or the good kind?
15.
Life sciences plus 10, 25.
25. The mold that you can see around does show signs of having foot traffic at one point, but maybe not in the last 3 weeks or so.
No one's come through this in the last 3 weeks. Can I peek outside?
Yeah.
Is there like a different, like the other tower we were at that was Slinky's had like ladder system or something?
Mm-hmm.
Is there an alternative way that I can see that somebody might get up, especially of a Yosoki?
So the first thing that you notice is you go out and you look, the buildings on either side have crumbled and fallen, and you can see off to the right twisted elements of a hardened plastic staircase that would be like a fire escape for this building that has been ripped away when the other building fell down. It probably ran between the two. You can see a similar structure on the other side, and so yes, while there was once that same kind of thing, not anymore at the moment. New York Blood Center, I'm not donating right now. I'm just a little far.
Right now.
I'm just a little far to be donating blood right this instant to the New York Blood Center. But
4 hours if you get out now.
Gibbs, what you do notice as you go and you look outside is there are all these like tarps that kind of flap in the breeze up around the 6th and 7th floors, and like, could somebody fly a pretty good distance up, they might be able to grab on and like climb the rest of the way.
From how I saw Emma hover, did she seem to have a preference when we fought her for altitude?
I mean, she definitely stayed in the air once she got there.
Yes. Does any of the tarps look like they've got handpins or?
With your checks, not that you can tell.
No.
So we're in the atrium. I don't really want to touch anything. So Spice, if you could just do all my touching for me,
Okay.
I'd appreciate that. But Captain, what is the plan?
Nothing I'm not used to.
Are there
It's the day that ends in Y.
any ways up that we can see that are like, we're in the atrium, floor is covered in crap.
Yep.
Is there a stairwell or an access other than?
There's the central lift that you can see, and then as far as you could tell, there was those 2 exterior staircases that are no longer functional.
Okay.
Make a perception check. If you go outside, you see Gibbs just kind of looking up, like sniffing.
And I'll tell
the
you what
air.
I'm looking for and what I've like save you from that same information.
23.
23. On the 2nd floor, you can see an area where there are barred windows, and you remember there's a security office located there, and so that's probably what this is. You might be able to, if you jumped up, use those as a handhold, but that would get you to like roughly the 2nd floor, and you don't see any openings there. Maybe from there you could find a next place to go, and technically, yes, there is. You could like Donkey Kong your way up the side of the building if you really want.
What about the laundry chute? Do we see that anywhere in the atrium, or does
Make a
that go
perception check.
straight through to like a basement level wash center?
Make a perception check.
27.
27. You see no laundry chute. You see along the walls, there is no, because the liquid is kind of moved up against it, lots of elements that at one point had been kind of like plastered against have peeled away. And so you really see like bare wall. There are no chutes. You see an area where there was at one point a fire extinguisher that has been removed since. Sorry, Gibbs. You see like little divots for places where things had been included but are out. There is no space that you would imagine a laundry chute should go through, and then you remember the laundry on the 2nd floor, and so it probably doesn't go all the way down to the 1st, because why would it? Nobody's sent their like uniforms up.
Right. Oh, laundry is on the 2nd floor. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't hear that part, or if I did, I
can sense it.
didn't listen to it.
Is there, while we're in the atrium, Echo wants to kind of look around and see if there's like a floor map?
Sure. So you go over, and after taking a little bit of a look around, near the lift, there is a floor map, like a, in case of emergency exit here. You can see there is an exit that is obviously right out front. You can see on the right and left side, there's a lever that should allow the windows to open in a case of emergency. So the whole front, similar to the warehouses that you've seen, though they don't retract up, will retract to the sides, and you can kind of release out that way. Those are the exits that are marked for the 1st floor.
Does the lift look booby trapped? I like give up on outside, start to look at the only other option that I can see of give 5 people up the building.
Yeah. So you kind of begin to sniff around this lift. And as you get closer and you kind of walk up the first couple steps, your feet clear the liquid. And now you're just kind of standing on metal. And the lift isn't even really in like submerged liquid. And so there isn't like an electrocution risk really. As far as you can tell from the checks that you've made, which I mean, all like mid-20s.
Yeah.
It seems to be in functional, if not great condition.
And all the buttons for all the floors seemingly lit and accessible.
None have lights.
Okay.
There's just that like blue emergency light on the
Yeah.
top, but if any of them work, probably all of them work.
Okay.
And actually, interestingly, Gibbs, as you consider that and you look at the buttons, there isn't a lot of dust on any of the buttons.
There isn't a lot of dust on any of the buttons. This is like pristine. Someone like fix this,
Someone knows that we are coming.
or someone lives here and uses it themselves,
Do you think Emma would set it up for us?
or she set it up for herself and lives here.
It is more likely that Potato Blue has done this.
I don't think Emma.
I trust it.
Here.
Potato was a pretty techie.
Up.
Correct.
Gibbs jumps in. Is everybody else getting on the lift? Is Spice and Gibbs are now going up?
Bye.
Spice and Gibbs, the two of you are shutting this glass capsule, and you begin to rise.
Gas
What
starts
button
to
did you
come out.
press?
Yeah.
Gibbs. Or sorry, Spice.
I use my psychokinetic hand to press penthouse.
Okay.
Echo sees them going
What?
up and just heads for the stairs.
I will keep in contact.
Can I use my standard action overload to keep the doors from shutting?
Why?
The doors are shut, like they're rising up. So you could use it to just get them stuck in the elevator if you really want.
Well, it's only for 6 seconds. It was if I could have done it
Oh no, because
before
they're
the doors
rising
shut.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're making
It
their
was
way up.
terribly inviting, and we're going nowhere.
Perhaps with jetpacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Echo begins like sprinting up the stairs.
So you sprint over, and the stairs are located to the exterior. These are almost like, the stairs in Boston that connect, or like almost like walkways that connect one building to another.
Prudential Mall.
These were staircases that connected to all 3 of these towers.
Oh.
And when the towers came down on the sides, the stairs went with them. And so there are no stairs. There is an elevator, and that's kind of it. That being said,
Yeah, get those
a rocket pack, if you can get up about 30 feet, you can grab those bars. And then only another 60 feet above that, there are the first kind of tarp that you could grab.
Go ahead.
I could give you a lift.
I'm
Appears that will be necessary.
running out to go to where the bars are, and then I'm opening a comm channel to everyone.
Okay. So as you do that, like literally
Yeah,
by the time you get out and you open the comm channel, you see the floors ding, ding,
Wait,
ding,
wait, wait.
ding. It goes
it's
very
glass.
quick.
It's glass, right?
Correct.
So, okay. Looking through floors 2, like,
You're seeing, well, so hang on. So you see as you go up very, very quickly,
yes.
you see a set of closed metal doors
Yeah.
on the second floor.
Okay.
You see a set of closed metal doors on the
Gross.
third floor. On the fourth floor, you see elements
wooden
along
doors.
the like bottom of the door that look kind of sticky. Like there is some kind of a old green or brown fluid, and then it goes by.
Right.
On the fifth floor, you see 2 closed doors. Same thing for the 6th. One second. The 7th floor, the doors are actually ajar as you go by, and you can see most of the ceiling is crumbled in there. And this floor largely collapsed. The 8th floor, the doors are intact, and the 9th floor, the penthouse, as you rise up to the top, the doors open smoothly. And this is like right about the time where the comm goes off and you see Shade is opening this channel.
Spice walks into the penthouse.
So, interestingly, the penthouse has not been completed necessarily. You walk in and there is significant damage to the walls around the area here. There is a small table at one point, and you can see like hotel-style paintings in the hallway that lead up to the penthouse, like smashed and kind of torn down.
Ugh, abstract art.
There's a single door
it
on the
so
very
bad.
end that opens up to like what the penthouse would be. And as you step out and approach it, and you hear Shade's voice in the back of your ear, it's a little bit cooler here. It's easier to breathe here, noticeably easier to breathe than it was in the lobby. No mildew smell here. And actually, Spice, make a perception check, and Gibbs, you're there as well. Make a perception check.
How long?
Natural tea. Shit, yeah!
How long does it take
Fuck
to
yeah!
get like the elevator? Is it like super fast?
Yeah, that's pretty quick. It was 9 floors in like roughly
What's
20
the
seconds.
total height of the? Because I'm trying to see how fast I can get up.
9 stories.
9 stories, so that's what, like 90 feet, 100
A
feet?
little bit more than that. Probably closer
Y'all
to
should
like
have just
110
taken the
feet.
fucking elevator, like.
So I should be able to get up there in a full action because I have 40 feet and I have my grippy arms, so I can just jump 40 feet, grab
Grip.
on, jump 40 feet, grab.
As long as you can successfully do each of those moves, yes. But we'll get back to that in one
Just
second.
Ferry.
Echo.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Worse.
Bubs is taking Echo. You are going by yourself. So give me just a moment for that.
Yeah.
With a natural 20
26.
and a 26. Well, so a 26, Gibbs, that really is, you learn almost nothing about the room
Cool. Light up my green bean can.
because behind you, you hear this,
Oh.
and you turn, and the liquid in your bottle is fizzing slightly. This little, almost like you just opened up a soda. The cork is still in, so there's no like air leaking, and you see the like, little repair to the bottle still fully intact, but it's just ever so slightly like carbonated almost. You can see it fizzing just a little bit, and that takes all of your attention.
never
That's weird. You haven't seen that before. Spice, with your natural 20, you hear air conditioning moving. You hear air being filtered in and out, unlike any other place in the Hollow Husk that you have seen so far. You see in the doorway, there is dim light coming from underneath and from all around the edges of this very, very solid metal door. There is the slightest gap, and from that you can see a massive deadbolt has been pushed through, and so this door very securely deadbolted from the inside. Though you can see just ever so slightly that gap that could, in theory, allow you to manipulate that, but it looks pretty heavy. I would say you smell vaguely the smell of sharpened artificial tropical beverage. And I would say
Tropical beverage?
like just a
Like an acrid?
like a moist hill.
What the
and,
fuck? Am I supposed to know what that is?
Like a Mountain Dew
There.
kind
Okay.
of smell.
Okay.
And with that natural 20, the only other thing that I would say is you
So
turn around because you feel bubbles behind you. It's like when you know somebody really well and you kind of like feel them come up behind you. It's like the smell changes, the feel changes, and you turn, and he's not there. But something about being up here makes it feel like you are right by him.
It's Hunter.
It's almost like you're wearing a sweater that they just took off. There is like an essence that is here. For the rest of you, as you dash out to the front, Bubbles.
Yeah.
What are you using to get up?
Jetpack.
Jetpack, and then Shade, you're using
jump jets
and sticky hands. So the jetpack, no problem. You can make it up. With the jump jets and sticky hands, make a single athletics check.
I think I should be able to do it. It rules as written though.
I don't think so.
I can grab onto things and stick to them.
What is it called specifically?
Let me check the.
Because I think there's still a check with it.
It's called I've never washed my hands before, and this is the
It's-
consequences.
No, it's a.
No, that's Gibbs.
Rules is written. I can do it too.
Where's my mods?
Adhesive hand.
It's
Clinging hands.
clinging hands. That's
Yeah.
the one.
Oh, I thought that was Bubs.
So with clinging
Oh, I guess
hands,
there's
Guys!
you have to make an you have to make an athletics
doesn't
check.
increase. Okay.
So go ahead and make your athletics check. You can ignore any increase to the DC
Yeah,
due
that's
to
what it
slipperiness, iciness, or much more importantly, as you are beginning to do this maneuver, you see elements kind of crumbly, and that is the biggest risk, that you would touch a part that would crumble away.
Natural 20.
But not a risk for you. You reach out, and with the first kind of jump of the jets, Bubs is like moved beyond you, and you jump up and just about catch up, and then Bubs is moving past. You slap on and use the momentum of this adhesive hand to just jet past, and you beat Bubs up to the top.
It's basically like I'm climbing up a ladder, but the ladder is just the wall.
Yeah, essentially. And you make it up no problem very quickly.
40 feet apart.
And there is no way to get into the 9th floor. However, you can see on the 8th floor, the windows have all been blown out. There is fire damage around the exterior of the building. And so at one point there was a fire within this floor. And you can just make your way in the window there.
Cool.
So you do so. Bubbles, Echo, and Shade, all of you kind of touching down in the smelling of like old fire that has been put out. You can smell flame retardant chemicals and things like that that have been used to douse it. And here you can actually see like here and there places where old caution tape has been put up, but just kind of like fell down. Nobody came back to do anything with it. It was just left.
So just quick summary. We're on me, Shade, and Echo.
Floor 8.
8. They're on floor 9.
Correct. Bubbles, make a perception check.
Sure.
I'm going to calm to everyone.
That's a 17 plus
I deny. I got bigger fish to
10,
fry.
27.
Okay. And Spice automatically denies it because that's just what Spice does.
Gibbs, her face is just on her bottle, and she's got the green bean can, so it looks like comical mirrors,
Okay.
like faces like woo, 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 like in the bubbles as they're carbonated.
Yeah, it's almost like a lava lamp. Just
Yeah.
And for you, Bubbles, with that check, you are acutely aware of the fact that after that, you put Echo down. Echo apparently way more dense than they look or even feel because you feel a little sore after that exercise. But maybe it was the combat. Maybe you're just not fully recovered. Hard to tell.
It's weird. I carried you before, like when you fell off the ship on Perdido, but I don't know. I'm tired.
With your natural 20 Spice, you hear the and then the of like Shade and Bubbles as they land like a floor below. And so you're probably aware of the fact that either Shade and Bubbles or 2 other jetpack using individuals have made their way up there.
Oh, that's also calming everyone.
Yeah.
Does the fatigue seem like standard? This seems weird that Bubbles would be tired after carrying Echo.
Yeah, very weird. You've seen Bubbles throw a hammer like through the front of a starship, so the fact that it would be hard.
Evaluate whether he seems to be like actively.
Make a life
sweating.
sciences check.
Not a medicine check.
Make a medicine check.
Thank you.
Can I detect magic?
23.
With a 23, as you kind of look over at Bubbles, you do notice that the muscles along his back, which are really with the kind of like very, I don't know the right word, but
Sinewy?
no, it's very seamless armor, and so you don't see a lot of exposed musculature necessarily that's not like molded in. You do see like the trapezoids, they do twitch and flinch, and those muscles do seem to be spasming, almost like Bubs is dehydrated, perhaps.
Bubbles, are you feeling all right?
I'm clean, so I'm definitely okay.
That's not
Oh, cleanliness is next to, healthiness, so.
Bubbles. When coming in contact with Emma, do you sometimes feel fatigued?
Well,
I do not mean emotionally.
Well, like I said earlier, when I was down, outside the tower, I got that nosebleed, and I thought that was Hunter, but usually, that's the nosebleed, and I think that's Hunter watching me and sending me a message, but I feel like this is, I don't know, maybe now that you say it, I do feel a little bit, sore and tired, but I don't know if it's Emma.
Perhaps
Nothing
something is
magical,
keeping
Gibbs.
its attention on you, causing the nosebleeds and perhaps other, more drastic consequences.
Something keeping its eye on me besides Hunter?
I do not know much about Hunter, but if Hunter causes nosebleeds, perhaps proximity might be dangerous.
Shade, the lift is intact here. And so if you wanted, you can call the elevator down 1 floor and just take it up 1 more floor.
I'm calming to everyone. We need to regroup. Stay where you are. And then I'm going to go
Okay.
get the lift to come down to us.
So you go over to the elevator. In the meantime, the 2 of you up on the 9th floor, what are you doing? You're aware that the group is just below you. Are you waiting for them to catch up?
No.
Fuck those guys.
Gibbs is a little more like wary
Okay.
now that there's been like a few things, and so there's like sketchy door.
Not a sketchy door. It's
Like
a very
a-
heavy security
it's a
door.
penthouse door. I'm gonna go up and knock on the door and go, knock, knock. I'm searching for a safe haven kid.
So you walk up to this door. Clong,
Anybody
clong.
home? You.
You kind of listen and you look, and there's this number 26 outside of it. You kind of push up your ear to the door and you don't hear anything. But with that natural 20, actually, I would say you might hear the dim sound of a fan that is blowing somewhere off in the distance. But that's about it.
Okay.
Maybe we should wait.
Oh, they get here eventually.
What did I just miss there?
Can I?
I literally looked up the top.
no
and
one
just-
needs to
just
know.
fell right apart. So it was-
He had bad burrito blowout.
One of the best things about having everything on stream is that I can just go back and watch later. Like the thing with the rum and the snorkel. Oh, I've watched
that was a
I've watched that
great
1,000
moment.
times.
a good idea.
Yeah,
Is
was
it
great.
dark
No, it
or
wasn't.
like everything's lit or
It's
like?
pretty dark. There is a dim blue glow that is coming from some emergency lights along the top, but aside from that,
I will
pretty dark.
contribute to the dim blue glow and just light up one can and roll it, and light up one can and roll it.
Is
and-
there like a
Yeah.
open door, like a handicap button to open the door?
There is not.
Damn it.
Is this 9th floor apartment handicap accessible?
It had a
not.
lift,
You'd think.
but the lift had stairs, so that's hostile architecture.
Interestingly, you see no key, no lock hole. You see that deadbolt that has been slid across with your natural 20, but there's like no at least visible way to open this door. At least that you can see or consider.
I think Bubbles has to open the door. Not with his fist, but with his aura. Oh, can I detect thoughts?
Sure. You
I
detect thoughts.
don't expect to hear any, but
You just get Gibbs right next to you.
that's
just-
fuck, you're
Just- I can
screaming
open
with your
this. I can
mind.
do it.
Shut up.
How dare you say
God.
only Bubble you?
Yeah.
This isn't so great.
Fuck. Never mind.
La 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 la.
Girls are better than boys. Girls are better than boys.
I am strong too.
And then when Gibbs snaps up, you just hear pizza, and then no, and just goes right back to the door. But yeah, that's what you detect. Not a lot of thoughts, and as far as you can tell, unless they are purposefully shielding themselves, you don't feel intelligences within this building or within this kind of space.
Their door had a gap in it. You said?
Very small, like a credit card could maybe slide in.
My eyeball to the gap.
Okay,
I feel like we saw it.
with a 25 on your perception check,
26.
26 on your perception check.
Yeah.
The only thing that you really note is there is moving air behind there. You hear a little bit of a fan now, just like Spice had. That's about it.
Is the draft coming out of the door or going in?
Coming out.
So it's going
And the
out.
rest of you, are you taking the lift up? Okay.
Yeah, once it's down there.
At about this time, there is a ding, and behind you, the elevator opens, and you can see Echo, Shade, and Bubbles, and you are all together in the hallway of the penthouse.
It turns out there are no stairs.
Oh. Well, there was a lift. You could have hopped down with us.
I'm looking at Bubbles to see if he gets a nosebleed.
Both of you
You look over
need
at Bubbles.
to stay together.
As Shade is talking, it's like, we cannot. And it just, you tune them completely out. You just stare at Bubbles, and you can see, for you, very noticeable. Bubbles is kind of like shifting a little bit and moving in ways that make it look like he is tired or sore. You've seen Bubbles sore.
Because he slept on top of you.
Yeah, maybe it was just that.
Hey, what's wrong? Is there? There's not something on my face, is there?
No, but I felt you before you were here.
Shade, as you get out of this kind of lift and you see the door in front of you, your head begins to throb directly behind the exocortex.
There's an unseen threat.
And Echo, your heart beats just a little bit faster. But all of you now stand in front of a door marked 26, heavy and metal. And Spice, if you choose to tell them, you know that there is a deadbolt that is pushed on the other side.
Oh, on the other side.
Yeah.
That's why I was so confused. I was like, why is this a problem? Oh, wait, no, I get it.
We just turned the deadbolt.
Yeah, I was like
going.
so confused.
Do you tell us?
What about the deadbolt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My bottle reacted.
Everybody's reacting fucking weird except for me, and I don't get it.
Are you
Something is
reacting?
wrong.
Are you
Am I-
feeling good?
Yeah, is Spice like those? Am I
All of us
okay?
not feeling good, but Spice feels, I mean, as well as Spice normally feels. Probably a little hungover.
Yeah, hungover. There's nothing out of the ordinary.
Does my status spell detect anything on the people it's connected to?
No.
Okay, so it's not like serious
Um.
yet.
Oh, we just waiting in front of the door. Do
I
you?
want to take a closer look at this door.
In what
Like,
context?
knowing that there's a deadbolt, is there a way to work the deadbolt from our side.
Make an engineering check.
While he's doing that, I have a makeup kit that I got from Spice. Can I slide the mirror underneath the gap and try to peek under it?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
some Nancy Drew stuff.
Is it
Make it
hermetically sealed?
Give me a second here. What was your check?
26.
26. Make a sleight of hand check. With a 26, as you look at this,
Natural 20. Boom!
okay.
Of like 4 rolls, you've like half are natural 20.
Yeah,
I
we
love
got,
it.
yeah, I know,
me
that's
too.
amazing.
This is I've never gotten 2 natural 20s.
Yeah, but half of 4 is 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like of 4 rolls,
that's
you've got
statistics.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So with a 20 so first you're kind of examining this, and what you can tell at first is there's not really like an easy way to do this, because you can tell with your exocortex, it barely registers. It's well shielded, but there is a
Emitter.
no. There is a chip within this door that is biologically attuned, and there's a word I'm trying to remember. It's just not coming to me right now.
Biometric?
scan.
Biometric, yes, thank you. This is biometrically locked, and should the person that this is attuned to approach it, it will open. This, what at first seems to be a very, very simple door, incredibly high tech. That being said, it's not magical.
It's not magical, guys.
And the deadbolt itself is made out of a very, very dense steel alloy that is also magnetic. And so, in theory, if you could demagnetize the electric part of it, you could use a heavy magnet to move it and slide it aside. There's a couple different ways that you could approach it. But Bubbles, your natural 20 for
Nancy Drew.
Put that mirror under that door.
you take with your big hands. This is going to be pretty difficult to
Crush the
do.
mirror and then slide the broken bits under.
Or
Like, what
it
can
would
I
have been
see?
just months ago, but you've been engaged in a lot of different hobbies that involve your hands, and so somehow you become more dexterous,
All that bonds.
and you're able to very, very delicately
that.
slide the
You're welcome.
slide the mirror underneath without breaking the glass, without doing anything that destroys it, and it's so tight that you barely can see anything. It's so tight that
I literally, I got naked here to like, my head was singing. Like,
you can't have it under there and also see a reflection in the mirror, really.
Yeah.
But off the corner and the edge, what you can see is that this deadbolt has a place for 2 hands to be able to like pull it back. And so this is, for a regular person, this would be hard to like open and shut. There is perhaps a way that you could loop something around it and pull it open. How would be tough? At least you're not thinking of anything unless you have.
I'm going to share that information. Yeah.
Do you still have your ion tape?
Oh, well, I have a little tiny bit, but it's like it's like the part where it's like on like the cardboard roll, so I don't know how much.
It's like a long strip.
Can I use my exocortex to try and like spoof the biometrics, or at least access them to kind of see like if it's synced to Potato Blue or someone else?
it's a too big of a door for you, so
Be enough to demagnetize the lock on the door.
I don't know. I'm gonna give like the small amount that I have to Echo. And I think this is the last of I have.
Yeah, this would definitely be the last.
It's like the end of the roll.
Make an engineering check.
Gibbs starts to pull out a coat hanger, thinking like, you know how you used to like jimmy like car doors?
Take a +2 conditional modifier as Gibbs
Yeah.
passes you another conducive material.
Yeah.
6.
25.
25.
That was my back scratcher.
You take Gibbs's back scratcher and use that to extend the ion tape itself. Not long enough, and though you can, by slipping it under and then electrocuting it, you can actually make it stand up, and almost you can't demagnetize the lock, but you can use this as a loop, run a charge through it, and then at like a 90-degree angle, this tape will up. And so using the coat hanger, you can extend it around. You can run a charge through the coat hanger using a fuel cell or anything that you want that has an electric charge.
I know, I'm just waiting for someone
Easy
to
enough.
ask.
You could have
She snaps.
spice to it.
Would you mind?
Touch it.
Say please.
Please touch it. Please touch it.
Gibbs is just like,
Spice. I want
Spice does her thing where she draws the electricity across her body and then shocks it.
no problem. You shock it, and there is this on the other side, and Echo, you feel the wire coat hanger pull just a little bit out of your hand as it grows taut around something on the other side.
I have caught something.
Okay, Bubs, hold Echo's hips and we'll pull all at the same time. And I grab your like knee. 1, 2, 3, pull.
Gibbs pulls a little bit.
Okay, do it.
Okay, I'm ready.
There's a biometric scanner on this door.
But not if we.
We've got bubbles.
Behind needs to be demagnetized.
That's what
we're
we're
doing.
doing. We're
Yes, that is
demagnetizing
what
it.
Echo was doing, but that does not mean that we can pull the door open now.
We gotta try.
It will not work. I am telling you that. We need to do more.
Like what?
After demagnetizing, we need to physically remove the deadbolt.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we hooked it on.
Yeah, that's.
We literally like can solve this problem.
Then do it.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
So are all of you doing this
Bubs
at
is just
once?
like he's like looking back and forth, like not knowing what's going on.
Hips, hurry!
So, Echo, make an athletics check. Take a +4 conditional modifier for Spice and Gibbs' help.
Something else.
We're only worth 4.
Yeah, what? 4 each, right?
Two each.
Damn.
What is your strength modifier, Gibbs?
Fuck off!
The synchronized.
Spice, what's your strength modifier? Is it,
What?
Charisma, we're supporting.
Yeah,
Crickets.
2 plus 2.
that's where the +2 comes from,
-1.
and I was being very
Okay.
generous for Gibbs.
Thank you.
With a 22,
+4.
it is tough. And so, inch by inch, you feel it give just a little bit, and it's almost like you have to have Gibbs like run all the way to the side, and then run all the way to the side, and it like kind of tugs a little bit more. And
Extra assistance would
Yeah, that would have been.
if only you had one more person helping.
Oh, okay.
Help!
I'm sorry. I just people just started touching me and saying things I didn't understand.
Yeah.
And he's like, can I wipe some sweat off his face?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll help.
Are you doing anything to prepare before you help?
Well, first he's gonna clean his hands.
Yeah.
It's just a very sweaty.
So you
hand.
take out the wipes and you kind of clean your hands.
Oh, yeah.
You go over to help, and right as you do, Echo, one last tug, and the deadbolt clear, and the door just open, and you feel a cool breeze come out. And Bubbles,
Looks like it worked,
so
Shade.
close. You almost were ready in time.
Almost.
We did it! We did it! We did it!
Through the door.
Gotcha!
been dislocated.
My shoulders hurt. Yeah.
Through the door, you can see this apartment, but because it is 8:15, before I describe it, we're going to step away for a quick break.
Nice.
So thank you for sticking with us for the door opening adventures of Mosaic Team
Jesus,
5.
my
We'll be
God,
back in 10
took
minutes.
forever to get it.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Mosaic Team 5. Thank you for sticking with us through the grape if you did, or through the cherry if you didn't. We're going to get right back into Starfinder.
Fucking cherry.
It's the worst artificial flavor.
So you have all, using a wide variety of objects, powers, and various other doodads, created a small loop that you could electromagnetically charge to form a hook around the deadbolt. And with the combined effort of Echo, Spice, and Gibbs, and the good intentions of Bubbles, you managed to open the door. Through it, as the air hits you, and this is air-conditioned air, processed air that has been treated and doesn't have any of the same smells as the rest of the hollow husk outside. You can see there is a clutter of crates and boxes and papers that cover almost every available surface, along with a good amount of Yosoki fur, crushed Galaxy Mist cans, which is where that sharp, citrusy kind of smell came from. Other technical components. You can see a number of barrels off in one corner. You can see there is an industrial heat fan that has been positioned next to a shower that is covered in fur. You can see a small couch that is sized roughly for Yosoki. Gibbs, it looks very cozy to you, and it's in the shape of a lima bean. And you see a laptop console-looking thing that is set up next to that little lima bean-looking bed. You see on the wall a poster, and this poster features a Lashunta soldier, and I would say, Spice, you've seen posters like this before. Black military dress uniform of the GPF spilling outward, and across the front it reads, "Protect us all." And underneath that it says, "Inquire with your local GPF recruiter about becoming a hero today." There is a number of knives that have been jammed into this poster. There is, most noticeable to you, Gibbs, a purple fungus that coats the main bed area, not this lima bean looking couch, but a primary full-size bed that is a nest of blankets. And even looking at that, as you look at it, your bottle behind you kind of rises up and fizzes more.
Does that seem like a happy, like, yum, the air is good and I won't
Make a
be
mysticism
growing?
check.
Yeah. Can I, like, insight check this?
You see a number of crates also around the barrels. No, you can mysticism.
No, mysticism's higher. Just like, it's 19 plus 12 is 31.
As you hear the fizz rise, it's not happy, it's not sad, this isn't something that has emotions, it's garbage juice. But it's familiar.
Can I?
Bubbles, your muscles ache. Shade, that ache behind your eyes grows more intense, and Echo, your heart skips just a beat.
Can I pick up some of the purple fungus?
Gibbs, you get a little closer to the purple fungus, and as you do, it kind of trembles and shakes and moves just a little bit. You getting closer?
No, because it was not on the lima bean bed. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna think.
Okay. For the rest of you, what are you doing?
Seeing that there's like the laptop out and kind of putting together that this is Potato Blue's basically like a panic room or something. I don't want to try and hack it because it's probably a booby trap since Potato has left this here, but there's probably information on it. So I want to wirelessly like hop into it to look for countermeasures.
Okay. Make a computer's check.
There doesn't seem to be like a bolt hole within the bolt hole, right?
Make a perception check.
27.
Okay. As far as you can tell, no countermeasures. It's powered on. There is no password to this, and you recognize it's not actually really a laptop. It is what is known as a turbotop. This is a Killer-Byte turbotop. It is a laptop-looking console that serves as a powerful connection to the infosphere, a portable tinkering station, which can repair items at 1.5 normal speed. And it even has a refrigerated compartment that cools exactly one 12-ounce can, one battery, or charge. I can't remember what they're called for laser weapons.
Charge.
Charge. Once, yes, battery, cell, charge, whatever you want to call it. will grant 16 hours of life, and it is rechargeable, so that battery within never needs to be swapped out. This is an item that in and of itself isn't trapped because it isn't like it's very much a purpose-built kind of thing. Oftentimes these are given out to repair techs for different kind of companies.
It's a Chromebook.
Is this?
Yeah, basically. It's like, this is like the Pip-Boy version of a Chromebook, yeah.
So is this essentially like the unit that Potato Blue would have used to enter the game without
No,
getting
almost certainly
stuck
not.
in it?
But as you think about that, I would say with your check, you look over and that stack of crates, across them in faded lettering, Fantasy Quest.
So
Okay.
full set.
I had a 32 for my perception check.
As you look around, you don't see any hidden kind of space here, although you do note there is a window that is not looking to the outside. It's almost like there's something obscuring it, and if you get over and closer, you can see there are these two little handles that you could retract the kind of covering in and pull it in, and there would be an open window to the outside here. If you do that, you look at the outside, and it's like a perfect replication of the outside of this tower. Very similar material, although plastic instead of the same kind of concrete that the material outside is. And this is a large enough opening for probably a Soki to fit out if they needed to, although much larger than that would be difficult.
And just down the outside of the tower?
It would be sheer down the outside of the tower if that was the case. The only other opening, as you look up, is a skylight. This is intact. There's actual glass, although you do see a place where it could be lifted up and closed back down, and so that would be a way to get in and out as well. And a much larger individual could use that, as it's... I mean, you could maybe even land a small helicopter if you open the whole thing up.
How big is this room?
This room in total, and it's not a perfect square, but it's about 60 feet deep and then runs approximately 85 feet long at its longest point. It's a little bit of an L shape, and the L itself is where you would see that bed, kind of like an off
Just
section.
around this bed area, can I use my diligent searcher feat?
Yeah, to do that, you would need to get right up next to that. Is that
Yeah,
what
so
you're doing?
I actually had a plan for that.
Okay.
I was going to, babe, I don't want to touch anything. Could you I could tell you how to clean, do that, and you could help me.
I wouldn't touch the purple fungus. I'm not sure if it's
Oh, I got gloves.
cannibalistic or not yet. Can I squint at it? Pull out my
Make a life sciences check.
Pokemon, but for plants app.
And I'll do the diligent searcher feat with Spice.
12.
Happy to.
You're not even sure if this is a plant now. I mean, is...
It
Hello?
kind of looks
You're
like.
you're not sure if this is maybe like an alien or something, but not sure. You get only more confused.
I put out. And I spit some of my bottle juice, at it.
Okay.
Does it. Or does it.
Roll a d100.
Uh-oh.
Did you just strengthen
Who the fuck knows?
the field?
55.
Okay. Give me just one moment. So in the meantime, Bubbles, you and Spice make your way over to the bed area. You act as the eyes and kind of point out places that would make sense. These are common places. You know that people hide things in the vent areas, and so you have Spice go and take the vents out. The vents are clean, they're working, and so they've been maintained. And then all of a sudden, this little splash of garbage juice goes over your shoulder and into this purple fungus. And all at once, the fungus begins to shake and then become dark and curl in on itself before it just balls up into a tarry ball and just shrivels and dries.
Babe, did you see that?
And then it cracks. And Gibbs, within, there is a glowing, sort of silvery, ashy looking gem that you would recognize as a 3rd level spell crystal, Burning Ash Cloud.
Pick that up.
The fungus
What did I just
blackened and
witness?
kind of crumbles away. Your muscles stop that kind of tense feeling. Your head feels better. Your heart stops racing. And your bottle.
3rd level spell crystal blackened cloud.
Burning Ash Cloud.
Burning ash cloud.
perhaps we would want to take a sample of this to send to the science officer.
Best would fucking eat this shit up.
You got it.
You should not.
Tarball, vial.
Okay.
It's really very much just like this resiny. It sticks to your fur and your hands, but you jam a bunch in and you kind of scrape your paws off, and you have a vial of this, what is essentially carbon tar. There is no noticeable smell that comes from this, for what it's worth, but all of you experience those various sort of effects as the spell gem sort of manifests, and yeah, that's what you have.
Why?
Not a clue.
Well, solve the problem. Literally
we're
solved
done
by
here.
spitting on it. Like,
All right, let's find blue potato.
So
But there is still tons of fur, little flakes of scales. You see chipped bits of what look like almost like an opal sort of maybe nail or a particle of bone. All kinds of weird things left behind now that the fungus has shriveled and died down.
Bubba's going to say, and it's just this one fungus, or is all the fungus around us?
All the fungus is gone.
Is the fungus no longer among us?
It is a fungus no mungus.
Babe, you saw that, right? Like the trash juice?
I watched it with my eye.
Do you think it has something to do with, like, I don't know, like, there's like so much moisture and moisture control here, and like I don't get it. It's like an air conditioner and like a furnace fighting each other at the same time. I don't understand how things are working here. Do you know what I'm saying?
you don't understand central air?
No, it's magic. It's magic. Because Gibbs uses magic.
Oh, yeah. Just maybe I don't know.
I don't understand the question.
I just
Could you please repeat the question?
I'm just being like I don't know what's going on.
on
So
the-
I'm just being like what's going on.
I don't know.
Whatchamacallit?
I'm here to play with the divers.
You can see as you look, this isn't the kind of thing that stores information. It's really used for text, and so very explicitly, it's not supposed to store user information. But you do notice that this has been used to make a connection elsewhere in the building. And I would say make a computers check.
Dirty 30.
Thinking about the map that Bubble showed you, the sort of way in which the power in this room is laid out, and assuming that it's kind of in a similar way down the building as you've seen in other places, probably on the 5th floor.
Okay. And that's part of the apartments, right?
Yeah. And if you're going by like the old map that Bubbles gave you, very specifically, that's apartment number 9.
And that's where the power is coming from? Is that what he asked?
That seems to be the last place it was connected to.
Okay. And the 6th floor is where it was collapsed, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. The console is connected to, or was connected to, a location on the 5th floor, apartment 9. We should check that out.
Yes, Captain.
Is that the computer that's running the tiles on the side of the building? The screens?
Doesn't seem to be.
What's running that?
They're dead screens.
Right, but they're like connected to something, right?
Most likely the main systems of the building. This is just a game console.
But those were not original to the Hool's Tower. Those were added after. Where did the...
Was it? I don't...
Oh.
I'm right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The TVs on the side of the building are
Correct.
after the original Hule's Tower.
Correct.
I want to know where the TVs are connected to or how they work.
Sure. They were added. So they were added after the tower was constructed, but before, like, Bubbles remembers them. And so, like, these, not part of the original construction, but they're not recent. If you're thinking about where they might be connected to, you do know that there's a management office. And so that's probably a good place to start, since it is likely belonging to the building. It's using its power. It's connected to it in multiple places.
Recent as in, like the lifespan of Huel Tower isn't, like, after how the husk was, like, kind of vacated recent, or like recent, like, oh, the building was built and then like a couple months later they decided to add the LCDs?
Yeah, so they were added several months later, and that was, well, we don't have a bulletproof front, but we have all these other features, and they started adding other things
Okay,
on.
so it's not
that was part
added
of it.
to like the
Correct.
Holocaust. It probably Potato didn't add it. Okay.
Correct.
You can now have the backside of a TV outside of your window.
Spice, can you sense any intelligence in the area, aside from in this room?
Nope.
The only 3.
What?
That was quite rude.
Spice looks blankly at both of them, and she absolutely missed what
Can I
was happening.
scavenge through the boxes?
Yeah, sure, you can go.
Did you
over
want
the
me to
boxes.
detect thoughts again?
I am curious if there are other people in this building besides us. If not, it might be safe to split up and cover more ground.
So far, hasn't been any thoughts that Spice has seen or heard or felt.
Yeah, Spice is just mindlessly throwing the knives at the GPF poster.
At least you know Potato Blue feels the same as you.
Yeah, it's nice to have an ally.
Echo bends down and like extends their foils to activate the blind sense, which is sound only.
Sure. You kind of put the hands down onto the elements of the floor that you can touch, and you feel vibrations. Every time somebody breathes or steps or picks something up and puts it down, you feel these vibrations. And you feel pretty confident that at least on this floor, which is about the I believe the range that you would have on it, 30 feet. So at least within 30 feet around you, nothing.
We seem to be alone in this tower.
You hear Gibbs take off the top of one of these crates marked Fantasy Quest, and within there are broken mechanical components to these helmets that you had seen the divers wearing. It looks like these are the remains of bits that have been scavenged away. You don't find any fully working ones. You don't find any power sources, and there's certain things that you can find missing from each, and a few that are missing only certain parts. Some of them are stained and water damaged, and so these seem to have been collected over time from various places. If you go over to the barrels, the barrels are unmarked, and they are the kind that you would see fuel in, but you don't smell any fuel. You go over and boom, kind of take out the little metal cap, and you recognize what's within, and it almost fills this entire barrel. These are UPBs.
Oh, wow.
And this barrel that you were holding, probably about 600 of them. And so in total, as you kind of open the other one, and it's about half full, the other one about half full as well. This is 1,200 UPBs.
And I drank one of the Galaxy Mists. Is it super good?
Still carbonated, and so at least relatively recent. You don't really know. You look over, and it's not expired, so for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But that means that, well, with Galaxy Mist, it's a 10-year expiration, but it means that it was made within the last 10 years.
Guys, I'm gonna pull out my compass. Is Potato Blue still in the direction that we were facing before?
Correct.
Okay. It seems like Potato Blue was here, but you know the compass is saying he's not. So he probably went out somewhere.
Well, it's what time? It's 5 or something?
We're around 5 p.m.
Maybe he only sleeps here. I mean, maybe he didn't want to wait around for us.
Oh, you know, maybe someone took him. Is there any kind of sign of a struggle here or anything?
There's a lot of Yosoki fur. Does it all seem naturally fallen, or like is there blood at the roots?
Well,
Make a life sciences check.
we knew that Potato Blue had a condition, right? Because of what Slinky had told us about being sort of having a hard time
Different.
finding friends, being different.
Perhaps. I mean, that's what she said. Whether or not that's a condition, maybe they just smell bad. Maybe they're
I
like
thought she
Gibbs.
said specifically like
They're a little
Potato
different.
has a
Yeah, it's
condition.
different.
Oh.
There's none there.
17.
With a 17, you recognize that this is not all Yosoki fur. There are certainly some, and it's mostly around this little lima bean couch and around the console that Shade is like kind of going through right now. And one thing that you think about being a Yosoki is like squirreling things away. And you look at this lima bean couch, and looking at the fur, you note that there is fur that looks very much like a canine kind of fur that's more gathered around the elements of this bed. You see fur that is more bristly and seems to have water repellent qualities, almost like maybe, yeah, some kind of water dwelling mammal for sure. With a 17, hard to really get much more sure than that, but various kinds of fur that are kind of like bits of tufts, and you don't find any blood, just bits of fur, bristles, little hairs.
And you said scales, like
yeah, there's a few
lizards?
scales like lizards. You find chipped bits of chitin, elements of exoskeleton as well.
Wait, so besides our assumption and the fact that there's one bed that's like a Yosoki-shaped bed, the lima bean, can I look around for anything that would actually like indicate that this is potato blues? Like the biometric panel?
Make a sense motive check.
Cool. 17 plus a million. 15 is 33.
So Gibbs, the best way
32.
to
32.
really get into the mindset, you just gotta be like, you just onto
Pull out my
the,
galaxy mist.
goes all over you, just like you imagine it would for potato. But as you into the lima bean, you do hear a little tiny crinkle. You instantly, as you kind of sit down, a couple things happen all at once with that check. First of all, you're looking around at all of this, and it dawns on you, you've seen this same collection of genetic material before. And it's striking because it's been a little bit, but when you were looking for Jade, and you were in this T'Challa Genetic Solutions, there was a sort of setup near the top where all kinds of things were happening and all kinds of amalgamations of animals were being created. And there were similar kind of scraps of fur and scales and various bits there.
Weird.
You also, as you kind of shift and you hear the rustle of paper again, and underneath the lima bean chair, you do note that there is a complete copy of the map.
Wow.
That additionally seems to have elements that have been labeled in.
Shit.
And Gibbs, as you really think about it, you get the sense
Open heart Mindy.
that this may not be a place that Potato lives. This may not be. I would say what you really get the sense of is looking at both maps. You see that Hule's Tower is one of these little green symbols, almost like a person, and there are other symbols like that. And so whoever resides here may also reside in several other places as well.
Oh.
Or perhaps those are relevant to that individual in ways like this is. And then, Gibbs, you remember that you're sitting on the 9th floor of a very tall building, and there may be other things here as well. There's a lot that you don't know, Gibbs. But this is what you do. What are the rest of you doing?
I think I'm gonna watch Gibbs do this.
Okay.
Does Gibbs share the map with him?
Yeah, Gibbs sort of pulls it out, and like we'll kind of hold it in her hands as like you can tell like the gears are turning. Much less obvious than when Shade's gears are turning, but like you definitely like starting to piece things together.
If not potato. And Echo points to the home section on the map.
That's where we came from.
Someone related to that place, potentially.
And that is the House of Blues.
That's House of Blue.
And seeing as it's labeled home, it would make a lot of sense that this map was created by either Potato or Slinky. And as Slinky sent you here, probably not Slinky.
But this is like it feels almost like a safe house. Like different people, different walks of life have been here. You know, there's different ways in and out. The symbol is two people standing together.
It's labeled Hunter's Tower.
Right, but the symbol is. We know it's called Hunter's Tower.
But we're not in Hunter's Tower.
We are.
We are?
Yeah, that's like the poem sent us here, and it was called Hunter's Tower, and it said whatever.
Oh, I thought we were
But-
in the tower.
The Blue Hunter's Tower.
Oh.
Right, blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I take a look at the? You said near Gibbs, it seemed like stuff that reminded us of Jade. Was it like a like a machine, like a 3D printer genetic printing machine? Or...
That was what you had seen at the Chalik Genetic
Yeah,
Solutions.
it's just
Around it, like almost like filament that
Yeah.
you see discarded around like 3D printers, there were bits of genetic material, fur, talons, scales, similar to what you are seeing around the bed here.
WC Genetics, Hunter's Gift, Hunter's Tower, Outgrow LS, Fortitude Pharma. These all have the same symbol surrounding them. There is also one that appears to be unlabeled.
Can I use my compass and see if that's the one that's unlabeled, if that's pointing towards that?
Using your compass,
Yeah.
holding it on that map, you would imagine.
Or wherever it is pointing to?
So you are all currently right here
Yep.
in Hunter's Tower.
Yep.
The line would be directly like this.
Towards Divers Deep.
The direction of Divers Deep, the Eye of Scorn, Fortitude Pharma, somewhere in this kind of pie slice.
And we'd already gone
If
through
Potato
Divers
Blue.
Deep and the Eye of Scorn.
You went through the Eye of Scorn.
If Potato Blue is in another safe location, and we make the assumption that these green icons mean a safe location, perhaps they are in Fortitude Pharma. If not, there are significant icons surrounding Divers Deep. We at least could borrow some disguises.
And Echo gestures at all of the diver gear.
That's a good idea. Captain, what do you make of all this genetic parts here? Do you think somehow maybe Potato Blue is doing something with genetics?
I do not know. It is possible, but there's not enough information to say right now. I would like to check on the 5th floor, see if there's anything down there that may help us.
Yes, Captain, that's a good idea, Captain.
Go on there. Okay. Anybody going with Shade?
Can you look while you're there?
Echo.
Someone was taking care of those divers with syringes and nutrients. Can you see if you can find anything like that here?
I will look.
Thanks.
Where are you going?
5th floor, apartment 9.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
Bubs will stay with Gibbs because I feel like someone needs, unless Gibbs is gonna come.
Keep your comm channels open.
Yes, Captain. And Bub is, while he's waiting, he's just going to I think he'll actually take a picture of like the genetic stuff.
Okay.
And he's gonna send a message to Demp. Just being like, hey Demp, we found all this genetic material stuff in Potato Blue's apartment. I'm not really sure what this has to do with the Hulk of the Husk, but it seems like there was some kind of modification going on. If the Hulk is some kind of modification of monstrosity, maybe that's connected. I'm not sure. Do you have any thoughts?
You send that message away. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
The rest of you pile into this elevator, and with a little android solo, you make your way down to the 5th floor. Spice into. The door opens to an intact hallway. You can see definitely there are elements of damage to the ceiling that show that there is rubble piled above you. You can see in front of you on the left-hand side, apartment number 9 does have the wall collapsed inwards. And on the inside of it, you can see the legs and the torso of an individual, tattered remains of an individual, really. You see old food that has long since dried on a table. You see clothing attached to this individual that would indicate that it was likely a Kasafa or other 4-armed bipedal slender individuals. There is a poster hanging on the far wall with a kitten hanging by its paws from a cat tree platform that says hang in there. There's also a laptop plugged into the wall. And left on a desk that is lit by the screen of this standby mode laptop, there is an old CompuCorp laptop with no infosphere connection at all. You can see nothing on the outside that would indicate that it has any kind of infosphere connection or card. This is old, this machine.
Similar to the one that we had found when we were in Mandras's lair on Oris Bay.
Indeed.
I'm gonna start looking at these two compies here.
Okay.
Countermeasures and all that.
Make a computer's check for
Echo will take
countermeasures.
one.
Make a computer's check for countermeasures.
Okay, computer's check for countermeasures.
I'll probably go towards the analog one first, since I recognize it as probably something related to
No problem.
Maldross.
Compy Corp.
Ooh. Ooh.
28 for
Okay.
38. 30. Sorry, 37.
37.
Yeah. With the, yeah.
With a 37, you notice there is almost imperceptible, and you've never seen it done this way. There is a tiny parcel of code, and the way that it has been hidden is so clever. If you think of the way into a machine as like a zipper, this is really hiding the code within that little hole within the zipper tab itself. It is very, very discreet. In fact, it would take a 28 to be able to even see this, and a 35 to be able to disable this. And so, Shade, you are able to see this and just go around it. And as you do, you note that on the kind of hollow... So first of all, there is a hollow shell. And in this hollow shell, there's a single README, but you go right past that and into the operating system. And, I mean, there is a pretty vanilla operating system on the other side of it. The only thing of note, really, is hidden within the hollow shell, and it is that README file.
So the last time that I did something similar to this,
Yeah,
I got a pretty nasty virus.
you did.
So keeping that in mind,
And I would say with that check, Shade, this README file, you go to the directory, you open up, you don't touch the file in any meaningful way, but you look at the file name. It says potato.readme. It feels very similar. You are getting like the extrasensory kind of like, this seems awfully familiar to you, and there's certainly similarities between those things. Echo, you notice that there is a countermeasure, but you have no idea what it is.
so this is the analog one, and there's the other computer that Echo is looking at. So not touching that computer, but kind of keeping my exocortex active in it. I'm going to ask Echo, have you found anything?
I am currently unable to move past the countermeasures.
The files in this system are similar in nature to the file that corrupted my data within Dr. Maldross's lab. I don't wish to open it because I fear that it is something that will negatively affect both of us.
Do you wish for me to open it?
No. As I said, I think it will negatively affect both of us. It may be just a dummy system set up as a trap. However, it is strange that both of these consoles are down here, and seemingly no information on either.
Again, I cannot move past the countermeasures on this console.
Allow me to take a look.
You go over, you take a look at this much newer machine, and interestingly, as you start it up, the operating system exactly the same. Without taking it apart, hard to tell, but you would imagine this is really just a shell of a newer system, and that same kind of analog is within it.
Okay.
These seem to be almost fail-safes for each other, in that if one is destroyed, the other will still work, and vice versa. You would imagine these are connected to the same sort of thing, and as you think about that, that means that the data size for this program probably a lot larger than the one that corrupted your data, which means that this is significantly more whatever it is. Maybe not more pointed, it could just be more information. If it is a README file, it's huge.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that's just a text
It
file.
would be
Yeah,
for a
text files
text
are
file.
really
This would be
huge.
massive. This would be
like 120 gigs.
a
of-
library. No, bigger. This is more.
For a text file? Jesus Christ.
You're looking at probably close to 200 gigs, give or take.
So is
of
that
just-
something that just like
It's bigger than
by
Wikipedia.
virtue of trying to open it, it would just brick your system because of like how much processing it would have to go into?
It depends on what it is. So if this was something that just opened up exactly that much data worth of processes, yes, that will crash a system. Make a we'll call this a sense motive check and take a +6 conditional modifier from that high computers check.
I hated that.
I don't like how I did that. I'm gonna use my daily reroll.
Nice.
There you go.
Oh, it's a new day. I can do my thing.
Yeah. That's much better. You said +6?
Yeah.
Cool. That's 24.
The only thing that really are this size in terms of single files are things like huge videos or maybe like a demo to a full dive game.
So maybe it's multiple systems to get into the full dive game without fully diving.
Hard to tell, but I will tell you, with these checks and with that insight check, you would imagine this is only going to do whatever it does to a synthetic creature. So if a human opens it, you imagine it won't have the same effect. It may not even really do anything. This is something that will affect you and Echo and maybe Spice, given the level of augments that they have. But probably not the others. At least not directly.
Do you communicate any of this to Echo?
Yeah.
Would you mind stepping away from the console?
Okay, easy. Give me 1 second here. So, Echo.
That music.
I know, right? What have I done?
Everything goes dark. For you, Echo just goes quiet, kind of standby mode. You see the lights dim ever so slightly, but still active. But for you, Echo, complete darkness, though you do feel the floor beneath your feet. You look down and there's only black. Though you do see a blue and orange polygon-based avatar that looks very much like you, electric light version of you. You are aware of the fact that you are within a digital landscape and you don't see at the moment any active blips of light or pulses of data. But about 10 feet in front of you, you see a very jagged white point that might be a different kind of interface. And it strikes you that it might be Shade, who would interpret data very differently than you would. Kind of looking from the outside in at this point. You see familiar digital landscape of the infosphere around you, though when you look closer, not quite. This is, to the infosphere, what's standing in a room painted to look like the earth and sky might be to outside. It looks like the infosphere. But if you take a step forward, you're met with this sort of invisible wall. The digital impulses of data don't reach through this dark conceptionary wall, and so as you send a pulse to this white orb that might be Shade, it just doesn't penetrate through. But you can feel that there are data pulses for Shade nearby. There are maybe other elements kind of nearby. And then you see off in the distance a single point of light.
So I'm not able to connect to any of the networks that are visible but not touchable.
Correct.
Can I walk?
Do you walk?
Am I the avatar, or is there like an avatar with me?
You are the avatar, we'll say.
Echo will start heading in the direction of the point of light.
Okay. Echo, you take 5 points of electric damage, of lightning damage. And for you, you see little bits of like lightning and electricity kind of crawl across and spark from the circuitry. Echo's eyes flicker slightly, and that light grows a little bit closer. And Echo, you see maybe edges of cloth. You see little flickers. You see from far away what looks like the very beginnings of a video or a space. But it's still a little bit off. Are you stepping closer?
Yes.
Has there been any reaction from
as they do, they're going to attempt to call out potato.
Okay. You take 6 points of electric damage. You see again this kind of spark, and then Echo just goes, potato, directly in front of you. And then you say it in the digital landscape. You say it out loud as well.
Okay.
You take another step forward. The lightning jolts through your body, and you see almost the entire distance has been crossed, and you see edges of cloth. You see maybe a sweatshirt. You see maybe you're in a closet. And Echo, you realize that this is not just any closet, but one that you have been to very recently.
It's Blue's closet.
It's Potato's closet. And suddenly, there's a burst of light, and a blue copy of a tubby little Yosoki pops out from a pile of socks. And you hear, "Hello, new person. You're human? Android. Oh, what's your name?"
My name is Echo 7.
No, not class. Name. And then everything goes dark. And then you see a little light in the distance.
At this point, can I try to implant my ghost into Echo? Because I'm starting to get worried that they have...
Cool ass idea.
Yeah, I love that.
Absolutely you can. Can you go ahead and make a, we're going to call this a will saving throw?
For Echo?
Yeah. Or you could choose to fail it. You feel
I can give you the
as
text
the
if you wanna
electricity kind of
make that
jolts,
decision.
you feel and hear this almost behind you, and you
Echo
see
fails the will
this
saving throw.
white,
That's a 14.
very nice, this white
Natural
pulse kind of bop, and then suddenly this ball passes through, like it is moving through a gelatin, and then finally surges to the other side, and you see that Shade has emerged into this space, much more simplistic looking. And Shade, when you step into this place, it looks very different for you.
Hey, listen.
Stretching out across, you see just digital impulses flickering off of each other. You see in front of you, you are within this kind of cubed box that is similar to the infosphere, but much more conceptually. You can see like the structure of it.
It's like more wireframe.
Yeah, more wireframe, and you can see this long corridor and Echo at the very end of it, but Echo is in sharp, like high resolution. Orange and blue polygons make up this avatar, and Echo is on the other side of this hallway. You can see all along the hallway there are elements of like malignant code that will cause damage if you walk across it. There's another hallway in front of Echo, and down the end of that hallway you see another kind of space. So you do not see what's in either of these rooms. You just see Echo.
I'm trying to make my way as safely as I can to Echo.
You take 1 point of electric damage as you walk forward. Echo gets closer.
To head towards the point of light again.
And Echo, you take 1 point of electric damage as you walk a little bit further away.
And I'm trying to make my presence known if Echo isn't aware of my presence already.
So you take 3 points of electric damage as you enter into this space. You are within this closet, and suddenly, hey, new person. And you see the exact same experience, exact same word for word experience that Echo had. You're human. What's your name? No, not class, name.
Oh.
And then fades away. Echo, as you take that second step, you take that electric damage, and you suddenly feel underneath your feet the creak of wooden floors. And you feel underneath that maybe insulation, and then as you kind of blink and look around, it becomes more real, and you are within an attic space. There's junk everywhere. You see boxes, you see an old tricycle, you see a mirror that looks just like frosted over with age and dust. If you look at the mirror, you do see slightly around the corner, there is something that is like moving and shifting around the corner, but you can't quite make out what it is. You also see the back of Potato, this kind of tubby Yosoki. They're wearing a lime green tutu. They're on their tippy toes and they're fussing with something around the corner, maybe whatever the shape is. And you hear them say, "You're like me, but large, human, male. I'll show the others. Put this on." And you see they pull out from behind them a Game Guy 3. Although this one has a lot of heavy modifications to it. And then as they hold it out, you see this huge hand reach out around the entire, it could like lift all of Potato up, but just gingerly tries to seize this Game Guy 3 and retract it back behind the box. And you hear the sound of maybe nails or legs or something kind of scraping, and then you hear, "It won't work." And then you see Potato recoil a little bit and says, "It will. You are big human male. I am small Yosoki female. You get things, Potato builds them. You don't think, put it on. Fades away. And then a point of light, a little closer than the last one, but down this kind of dark corridor. Are you following Echo? You take 5 points of electric damage. You take 1 point of electric damage as you step into the same space. And suddenly, are you walking away from Shade also?
Echo would kind of turn back and say, I was hoping you would be wise enough to stay outside. You have already been compromised once.
And as Echo turns and says that, suddenly behind Echo, this mirror appears, and then the attic appears, and then you just hear, you're like me, but large human male. We'll show the others. Put this on. And then you hear the exact same thing replayed, word for word, moment for moment, movement for movement, and then disappears, and that point of light appears just a little bit off.
As captain, it is my duty to ensure your safety as well. You seem to be taking damage from the system.
Ah. If you wouldn't mind, please ensure that nothing happens to my body outside, and pull me out if it seems to be too dire.
I will do so. I'm still able to be in it with my exocortex because I can still do stuff as my body, right?
No, you're very much in this. And so your digital representation is here. You imagine your body's still out there. You're still doing plenty of things. But when you're exocortex connected, it pulled your consciousness to this space.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the only one there is Spice.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
And time hasn't passed. For Spice, this has been a moment of time.
Okay. I will relay that information to Spice, but I'll stay here.
Is that wise?
At this point, I think any danger would have subsisted.
Good luck. And Echo continues forward.
You take 6 points of electric damage as you cross the final stretch and emerge into the room that you had just left up above in the 9th floor. The furniture is slightly different than it was before, indicating that it had been moved slightly since its previous time, since you had been up there. You see the laptop a little bit on a different side. The lima bean is upright instead of on its side. But you see Potato Blue. They're a little bit taller. They're wearing complex makeup in shades of metallic navy that make it look almost like a butterfly is centered across their face. They hold a staff of twisting blue light that kind of seems to appear in their hand. And Potato says, this is not real, but Potato knows who can do this. We'll get them from the deep. We might die, okay? And suddenly, stepping around the corner and into view, you see a larger version of Bubbles. Way larger than Bubbles, a jawline a little bit weaker, but the eyes more intense, the head a little shinier. Bubbles is strong, but from the lines along this individual's arms and neck, even in the digital recreation of him, you could see that this person has honed these raw tools significantly more. And from this individual, you hear, I'm sorry. And Potato says, everyone yells at Potato. Everyone is more stupid than Potato, so Potato forgives. We go now. And the other person says, if Potato, there's someone who will try to find me. Someone very bad. And Potato says, yes, many blue circles upon a bad day. And you see the eyes narrow on the other individual. What did you just say? And Potato says, bad day. Now, we must go to Divers Deep. They won't follow us there. And that is where we can make Potato's friends happy again. Come. And then you see the two of them turn and they just kind of dissolve into points of digital light as they head in the direction of the elevator. At the very last bit, as you can see the image kind of fade away and you recognize that you are coming back to consciousness within the 5th floor, you see this huge shape leap and disappear down the elevator shaft. And very slowly, the fading image of Potato slowly taking a ladder out and dropping it down and very delicately climbing down the shaft. The digital landscape fades away. You were both back where you were with a little bit more damage than you left. Spice, doesn't seem to have reacted in any meaningful way. It's like no time has really
like-
passed at all.
Oh, you guys, hey.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
This is most concerning. It appears that Emma is not here for Bubbles.
That was likely Hunter.
I was under the impression that Hunter was a girl.
Do we know that? I don't know.
I think I've said it's a girl, but I also sometimes think it's an it.
You don't know?
Yeah.
Hunter was the very first person to leave.
Yeah.
And so Hunter is the one that you barely even saw. Your memories of Hunter are mostly feelings of discomfort and unease.
Yeah.
The figure in that with potato blue bore a striking resemblance to Bubbles.
That was obvious.
Knowing what we do know about the experiments, Hunter is the only likely of the 5. It would also track given that this is Hunter's Tower. The question now is, why is Hunter working with Potato Blue?
Much like when Bubbles was found. He found a father figure. Perhaps this one has found a friend.
That doesn't answer what they're doing.
No. It does answer, though, why Hunter might be with Potato Blue. Potato Blue found someone who had what she lacked. I am, admittedly, less trusting of Potato after seeing some of these.
I agree. I think we need to be ready to do what must happen if we encounter either of them.
Restraint, however.
It's not the first option, but we may need to do so.
We should grab Bubbles and Gibbs. The sooner we can meet up with these two, the better. We would not want Maldras to find them.
Agreed. Boop. Bubs,
Yeah.
you and Gibbs should finish up there and meet us on the 5th floor. We need to move.
Yes, Captain. Right away, Captain. Hey, Gibbs.
Wait, hold on. I'm finishing up. Gibbs, in the meantime, has 2 goals.
Okay.
First goal. There's a UPB and a printer, this, like, zesty computer thing.
I love Zesty Computer. So there is
Turbo.
1,200 UPBs, and then Shade had kind of examined this console that is like a repair station almost. Yeah.
Can I go to, like, the print settings and see what the last thing was repaired? Was it, like, a helmet or, like, a gun or something?
Yeah, great idea. Give me 1 second.
I'm gonna grab the helmets because Echo told that we should do that.
It is something called GP-14D4. Make a engineering check.
Hold on, GP-1... You know what? I'm just gonna wait for a better...
GP-14G4.
A what check?
This is an engineering check.
6.
That sounds like some stuff. You've seen letters and numbers before, and you know that usually is associated with something else, but hard to tell what that might be.
Can I put in some UPBs and see what prints out? Is that how this works?
You absolutely can. So you go in
Done.
you see this will take about 100 UPBs to print out,
And how
it
long?
will take about 10 minutes to do.
Cool. So I start that print.
Okay.
Second quest.
Okay.
I want to send a message to Blue. Can I want to send a message to Blue that we're here. And my first thought is,
To Slinky?
no. Sorry, to Potato.
Okay.
To that, like, They promised answers, and I assumed answers was gonna be them waiting for us and just explaining everything and like conveniently like narrating our journey and being like, this is how it all aligns. And they're not here. And I'm like, oh, well, like we just missed our date because we took a nap instead. So they just need to know we're here, and they'll come back and they'll explain everything and it'll be great.
Okay.
Those TVs on the side, can I plug like an HDMI into it from the turbo machine and like...
If you could find where they plug in, absolutely. I mean, you could probably plug your communicator into those if you really wanted to. You just need to find that connection
All
point.
right, window, look down.
Okay. You see some screens.
Gibbs, what are you doing?
I'm looking for the like in-out port.
To what?
Hold my ankles.
You imagine?
Gibbs,
Hold my ankles.
I'm gonna grab her ankles.
Great.
What are you doing?
Lower me down. I'm looking for a port.
To what?
To plug into, obviously.
Plug into what?
The screen!
Okay, well, why didn't you say that? It's like an Alva Costello thing that Steele used to show me. Like, you're not telling me real words.
Okay, I want to plug into the screen. Lower me down. Hold me by my ankles. Let me look.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Make an
just said
athletics.
that
Make an
first.
athletics check to do in a much more dangerous and hard way. But there is probably an easier way. This is something that you would imagine. In order to project images on here, there must be a way to do it, and so that.
Listen, man.
Yeah, no, I love it.
I don't know shit about computers.
11 plus
Athletics.
5.
Probably
16.
decent. Oh.
No, I don't have because I've been trying to put up my. It's hard. I only get like.
So Gibbs, you have Bubbles lower you out the window by your ankles on the 9th story of the lone apartment that has not collapsed. You feel the breeze as you do, and you hear the of these tarps as they kind of flutter in the breeze, and you realize you're up kind of high. And then Bubbles kind of lowers you a little bit, and you instantly feel Bubbles' hands begin to sweat.
Regretty spaghetti.
And you suddenly, just about a quarter of an inch, you slide a little bit as your fur is not holding on super well.
Yank me back up!
And
pull it back.
okay, you pull Gibbs back up, and you think if you were pretty close to losing Gibbs.
Gibbs,
This may not be the best. This could have worked. Looking down, you see like a box that probably has the controls and like a place that you could attach in. That you almost dropped
You
Gibbs.
get a tech person to come out, and they bring
Yeah,
a
well-
crane.
Gibbs, I don't understand. Why do you want to mess with that TV down there?
Okay, here's the thought, right? And I tell him literally the internal narrative of like, oh, Potato just missed our date, like, because we slept, and because we slept, like, they just need to know that we're here, and then they're gonna come back and they're gonna explain literally everything to us.
Yeah, and Gibbs is like, why not use these huge screens to send a message?
Oh, I mean that's not a bad idea.
Just whiteboard, like,
It would have been nice if you like told me that before, like, you know, just saying like, oh, let's just do this. Because you know, like, I thought you were like gonna like jump off the building or something. I don't know. But like, I could possibly, you know, use my jetpack and I could hold you up and you could do that.
what? Okay, great. Do you have a communicator that has PowerPoint on it? I think mine's a little too old. It's only got open office.
I don't. Do you mean like one of those like flat, like, you know, like slideshows?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I don't. Okay, yeah. No, I loaded up.
Nice, cool. And it says, what does it say?
You gotta tell me. I don't know.
What doesn't it say?
It says, Golden Road walked.
Your print is done. And you have printed out the housing for a glamour projector lens. And you realize GP probably stands for glamour projector. And hard to tell what the numbers might be, but this seems to be the housing for a glamour projector lens, similar to the one that Bubbles has.
Hey,
Oh,
it's the housing for your thingy.
it's like my glamour projection suit.
Yeah.
Can I look at it? It's not like a suit. It's like the thing that projects the false image.
This is like if the case was cracked and they printed out another housing.
Okay.
This is like a spare part.
But that means people are walking around with glamour projections, which makes sense if they're genetically modified.
Bob is gonna take that. I don't know how this all fits in, but I know this has to do with something with the game, Fantasy Quest. Either they're trying to make something look like that in the real world from something in the game, or maybe vice versa. They're trying to make something in the real world look like something in the game. I don't know. I'm not sure, but we can tell the others. Look, I don't know if we're gonna have time to do this TV display. Maybe we should just go.
On the way down, we'll just pop it right in, okay?
Pop what in?
The flash drivey thing.
Bubs, what is your status?
Me and Gibbs are we're messing with the 3D printer, and also Gibbs just want to get some fresh air.
You think about that. They're on the 9th floor. And so maybe you've left them unsupervised for too long.
Please get down here when you can.
Yeah, Gibbs, we gotta go.
Okay, but PowerPoint?
Gibbs, I don't. We gotta
On
go.
our way.
Maybe.
You get to the elevator. Are you going straight to the 5th floor?
Yes.
Gibbs, you going straight to the 5th floor?
6th floor is where the connection is?
The 5th, the connection for what? You would imagine if there's a connection to the screens, it's probably in like the maintenance or security or that kind of thing on the 3rd floor.
Cool. For some reason I thought it was in the broken down 6th floor, but okay, we'll go to the 5th floor because it's on my way.
So you stop at the 5th floor, you open it, and you hear the doors open from where you are, and the rest of you can kind of make your way and join Shade, Echo, and Spice within this place with these two very simple machines and the remains of a Kasatha, perhaps.
Ooh.
What did you guys find?
You might want to steady yourself.
Okay.
It
What is
seems likely that Potato Blue and Hunter are working together.
No, that's not. Why would Hunter be here?
We don't know. However, information in these computers showed Echo and I that Potato Blue has made contact with someone who looks very similar to you, but much bulkier.
Bubbles. Your nose starts to bleed.
They said that they were heading towards Divers Deep, which would indicate that it is likely where they still are, given that the compass is pointing in that direction. I believe it's best if we head there as quickly as we can to try and find them both.
Bubba's gonna touch his nose. You guys, if Hunter's there, we need to stay away. I know Hunter is telling me messages and giving me these things, but Hunter's different. They're not like us. The other 4 children, they're different. Okay,
Bubs, I understand that you are having difficulty.
Oh no!
That's why it was like that when you got here. I just realized. I mean, you'll still be able to hear you fine.
Yeah, you're loud enough. You need to be prepared. We are going after Hunter. They may also be the Hulk of the Husk. All signs are pointing towards it. Potato is not who you think they are. We both need to be ready. We may need to confront them.
What do you know? Do you know what Hunter's special power is? You said they're bigger than Bubs?
Markedly so.
He wasn't. She was. They were massive. It seems Potato has found some way to make up for the physical prowess that she lacks with her size.
And why do we think this is nefarious? A nefarious relationship purely because Hunter is a
Because
known...
the Hulk of the Husk is a murderer.
It is not necessarily nefarious,
We do not
but
know
they
their
do
motives.
have their own intentions and their own motives, which may not be purely aligned with the well-being of everybody.
What's Hunter's? Hunt. That's the thing. No one knew what Hunter's powers were. Okay. That's how scary they were. Things just happened, and sometimes you wouldn't know if that was Hunter or if that was just a coincidence.
And the drip speeds up to a steady little rivulet of blood that now just runs down your face and off your lip. It's steadily increasing in terms of how intense that nosebleed is.
Do you know what reality is? Do you know how you can point to something and say, hey, that happened today, and I know what that was? That changes when Hunter's around.
And Bubbles, as you are thinking about this and as this panic is taking over and the blood runs down your nose, you can't help but remember a long time ago when you were very, very young, sitting in an office with a clock ticking behind you and being told that you really can't trust anyone. But because it is 9:30, this is where we're going to end for this evening. But thank you for joining us for this session of Mosaic Team 5. We are just exploring a little bit of Heels Tower. We'll be back next week for a little bit more Starfinder. But until then, you can join us tomorrow night for some D&D 5th edition Courts of Everest. We are going to be
Having a good time.
It's gonna be good, lighthearted, nothing's gonna go wrong.
Everything's gonna be great.
as we make our way towards the Candlestick Forest and the Coven of Unrest. I'm sure it will be just fine. Please stay safe. It's crazy out there. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.